Well, it'd be that time again, it'd be that time again. Game day. We do love a good game day. This one should be interesting based on the last match that happened between us and Falkirk. It was pretty damn close, that 1-0 affair less than a few weeks back, so anything pretty much on lines of a decent performance today is all we can really ask for, let's be honest with you. Hope anyone that's in early is here. I'm just making sure everything's working before I switch over to the camera because there is a chance it may freeze, just bear with me. And it should be good. We should be good. I think we're good. What's happening? What's popping? It's game day. Celtic versus Falkirk. This one should throw up some interesting ones. We'll be keeping tabs on other results. I mean, there's some interesting games at play there now. Obviously, for those that aren't aware, at half time in one of the other games up at Easter Road right now, it's still all square between Rangers and Hibernian in that one. So that one's pretty interesting to keep an eye on because it could benefit us by the end of this match day. But of course, for those that don't know, there is a female match. It's been well, the female low form. Let's say it's been a hell of a fucking half. I'll tell you that, man. 2 penalties, some good goals, but Celtic are winning that one from the last I checked. They should have probably just have a little update to make damn well sure. Nice to see you, all. Nice to see you, Rab. Hope you're well, mate. Hey, hello to you. Likewise with you, Wayne. Nice to see you. It's been a while since I've seen you, actually, Chief. Hope you're in good health, my guy. Likewise with you, Craig. Hope you're well as well, mate. It's a pretty good day for football anyway. It's not exactly what you would call a packed out house based on what we're seeing in the early stages, so let's be honest. It's, well, yeah, actually really fucking... Well, I mean, to be fair, there's still about 10 minutes until the stands fill up, so we do have that working in our favour as well, so it's not all doom and gloom. It's not all that bad. Just pulling up all the things I need to pull up here. Hope you are all well, enjoying yourselves and all that jazz. Let's pull up all the things that we need to pull up here. If you want a little gander at the lineups, here it is, at least according to live score. It could, for all intents and purposes, be that 4-4-2, but I'd imagine it would still more or less be the classic 4-3-3, but you know, Benji just being pushed a bit further forward like we've discussed before. But as it is, the only real major change to keep an eye out on from the last matches, realistically what you would expect. Obviously Araujo comes back in, obviously because he was exempt from the last match against Utrecht, so we have to go with what we've got here. Araujo it is. Not too bad, not too fussed with that in the slightest. But of course, since Trusty was red carded in that game against Hearts and it wasn't overturned during the appeal, it's Dane Murray that will come in to replace him. But the rest of the team is pretty much as you would expect. McGregor will be playing as that anchor midfielder. Arlen and Nygren will more or less be rotating either side of them, you would imagine. But again, it could be a 4-4-2. It might be a counteractive system that we're playing. It could work out, it could not. It really just comes down to circumstance and all that good jazz. But for what it is, it's not too bad at all. I like the fact that we've kind of got that option to kind of push Nygren forward, but again, we'd only really do that if we're completely dominating the possession. It's nice to see you, Trev. Hope you're well, my guy. But yeah, I think as long as we do the basics today, it shouldn't be too difficult, right? Like, Falkirk are a good side. They don't concede many chances. They're very, very stable. They're in the top 6 for a reason. We know exactly what they're capable of doing. So as long as we can kind of stave off the early pressure, you would imagine Falkirk will want to try and redeem themselves because they were the Philly. They could have got something out of the last match. So they'll have a little bit of oomph about them, you would imagine. And like I said, we will be keeping tabs on other games. Right, like, you know, it's half time and this one's still 0-0. So not too bad for us in terms of what it could do for us table-wise. Obviously, Hearts were quite comfortable yesterday. Some interesting decisions in that game, to be honest with you, but you've got to give them credit where it was due. It was a decent enough performance. You can't really argue with a 3-0 result, to be completely fair. But yeah, it's 3-2. I just had to open that up and check to make sure between Celtic and Rangers women's right now, still squaring that one, and I don't think there's any other major games to worry about as of now. There's a couple of interesting ones going down in the Premier League. Sorry that I'm keeping tabs on literally everything else besides the game here, but try to find obviously something that works. And that should do. Should be fine enough anyway. But I mean, 5-1, fuck's sake, David, that's a hell of a prediction. I'm going a bit more steadfast. I feel like obviously we weren't the best against Utrecht. A couple of things were exposed with us, especially defensively, right? We weren't exactly all convincing. So again, the fact that we've got a lesser defender in there than Dane, again, he's young, he could still have a good performance. It's always up to interpretation, right? But I think for the most part, it's going to be a hard ask for for Dane to just settle in the day, so Scales will have to do a lot of the heavy lifting, or Araujo will have to do a lot of the good anchor play, especially on that right hand side. So I don't imagine Dane will be doing too much besides just holding his position. So again, maybe Falkirk can see something they can expose, because they've set up pretty attacking, to give them credit where it's due. Obviously, you know the goalkeeper for Falkirk. If you don't by now, then, well, you don't really appreciate Scottish football. But it is Scott Bain. So we've faced two Celtic ex-goalkeepers back to back now. Bain, obviously today, and then Barkas less than a few days ago. So that'll be interesting. And another former Celtic, I'm pretty sure he's on loan right now, right? And Liam Henderson, Connor Allen are there, two centre-backs. They've got Keelan Adams and Liam McCann as their full-backs. Barney Stewart and Dylan Tate as their two holding midfielders, with Brad Spencer playing as their holding anchor, if you would want to kind of call it that, but he'd more or less drop in as needed. Carell Wilson and Calvin Miller are their two wingers, with Louis Marsh as their solo man up front. And as we've touched on before, it might not exactly be this formation. You would imagine it would still be the flat 4-3-3, but according to this, it could start as a 4-4-2, which could be interesting. But Tierney and Araujo are the full-backs. Casper in between the sticks, Dave Murray and Scales, as we just touched on, as our two centre-backs today. McGregor most likely being a holding midfield, but we're going off of what we're seeing here. So McGregor and Arn will be the two holding midfielders, with Maeda and Yang playing either side, more or less as left and right mids, not so much wingers, because it means the crossing lanes are open for the forward two in Shvanchara and, of course, Benjamin Nygren. I'm doing pretty decent, to be honest with you, David. Pretty chill day. Can't really argue with it too much in that sense. It's just one of those kind of calm and quiet ones. But aye, I said I would obviously try and cover this game if the last one did pretty well, and to be fair, it did quite solid, so I'm not going to complain about that in this latest. These French fathers just having a word with the Celtic TV boys, and it looks fired up and ready, to be fair. Or maybe, to be fair, this will be one of those pre-match things, I'd imagine. But again, with the circumstances that we've got at play today, there's some interesting situations that could play out. Obviously, if Hibs decide to pop off and do a madness, which would be hilarious, then yeah, we could theoretically jump back above them. If not, then, I mean, if it stays level and we go ahead and beat Falkirk, even by just the goal today, it would theoretically be enough to hop back over the top of them, which is all we can really hope for, to be honest with you. Nothing stupid. As long as we keep things pretty docile, we should be fine. Nice to see you guys. Hope you're well, man. I'm presuming the first half isn't going too well for yous. Just exchanging handshakes, and then we should be on the way relatively soon. We are obviously working with delayed feeds today because, well, for whatever reason they decided that Celtic TV would be just outside the UK and Ireland today. But, I mean, decent lineup. We should be fine. Shouldn't be anything too complicated from this one. I like the way that we've set up. I like the way that we've got things going, especially over the last few match days, right? We've been pretty consistent at scoring goals. We're averaging about 3 over the last 3 games, so again, I feel like in terms of getting chances today, that's not going to be too much of a problem. The issue for us, as always, will pretty much come down to can we keep things steady, and more importantly, can we try and stave off early pressure, because Falkirk, like I said, they'll try and go for us from the get-go. You wouldn't imagine they would just sit in and play the kind of calm and quiet game. You feel like they might take a few early chances, and at the very least try and keep us under the cosh for as much of the game as possible, because they know if they can get to the 60th minute, still all square, then obviously things are going to be more in their favour than they would be ours, because they feel like they might just have that edge to go and grab something. And Celtic tend to let things slip as the game goes on. We don't have the energy that we probably have had at the start of the season into last season. You could kind of talk about second half syndrome, how we used to do better in the second half than the first. This season it seems to have reversed, so if we're doing damage, like I said, most likely will come in that opening 20-minute stint, ideally for us anyway. Butland's keep me in it. Yeah, I mean, I was looking at the stats there. If you want me to take a little gander at them before we kick off, but yeah, seems like Hibs are having more of the chances, but Rangers just a little bit more of the possession. Seems to be one of those games where they're just testing the waters. Easter Road's never an easy place to go. That's the thing that we always kind of say with those types of places. Tynecastle, Easter Road. You would probably say the same for Pittodrie as well. They're all kind of places that on their day when the fans are in full force, it could be interesting. It's a decent ball forward there for Falkirk out the gate, but bounces off the top of the head and can lay out in the far side for a throw-in. Be interesting to see how John McGlynn and his boys kind of set up the day. I mean, we should have the timer up here. Yeah, sorry about that. It usually takes a second or two. We'll go on to stats now, and it should be up and running for you. And obviously, as things happens, the stat sheet will update. All we can hope for is something half consistent. That's a decent ball back to Schmeichel. Under a bit of pressure there actually from the striker. Could have gone anywhere, but Schmeichel just opts to get out for a throw, and instead he's not too pleased. Arms out in the air, shouting at his team, as you would expect. It's a decent bobble and bounce actually. Could go anywhere for Falkirk, but stave off the pressure there. Yeah, it seems like that high line might be their play in the early stages of this one, as you would kind of expect from them. They'll try and probably grab something early. It's an awkward bounce as well. It's a good leg out there for Tierney. Had to get something on it. Either chased back and he gets something on that one as well. Decent for both of them, that. I suppose it gives them that open angle. If they have options, then again Falkirk will try their best. And it's that wee fella on the right hand side, Carell, it's causing a lot of early problems here. It's another awkward deflection. I'll tell you what, man, could bounce and go anywhere there, but I survived the scare. Calm enough ball into the box, but it should probably go over everyone. It does in the end, but it's well maintained. Again, it seems like Falkirk are basically just maintaining that same strategy that they had in the second half of the last match that we played against them. Try and keep it compact, move it very quickly, more importantly with purpose. Spencer more or less acting as that anchor in the midfield as well, that gives him then extra options. So it's, I mean, definitely a good approach from them. You can't fault anything for the Bairns early doors here. It was certainly bouncing and bobbling around. I think there was a foul in the box to be given there anyway. Yeah, it looked like it just popped up off the hand. I'm not sure which one it was, 16, Stuart, right? I'm not really sure what to make of the start of this. I know we're only a few minutes into the game, but seems like it's all one-way traffic so far. Although we are trying to go forward, so there is that. Decent overlapping pass, and it's caught out instantly. That's just great. Murray all over the shop already. Yeah, it's kind of why I said that we're pretty much guaranteed to concede today. Scales is pretty much the only actual consistent centre-back we've got. It's not that I don't like Dane, I want to clarify that. Although no, there is a half chance for us here. Cross, potentially. You got to whip this in, boy. Not bad, it's cleared away. Still dangerous, definitely a chance. Nah, not so much after that. I mean, my respect there, for it was half decent. Cross into the box could have been a bit better, I should honestly say, for him, but can't mind the way that we're trying to go for them now. All of a sudden we've engaged the press on our own turf, so that's not bad to see. I might just have to go with the other feed because this one's a wee bit janky. That's the thing when you use like Discord fucking things, is that sometimes you just buffer a little bit. I do apologise, I have to switch to a different one. Better to be safe and sorry, I suppose. Yeah, not too bad. Well, to be fair, that's a really good ball for Falkirk. A really good ball for Falkirk. Actually, they're down the wing here. Potential cross to come in and... Well, I mean, the flag was up for offside anyway. I thought we'd put it outside for a corner at first, I'll be honest. What's the atmosphere like? Honestly, very flat. It's definitely not a packed out ground by any means, and that's been exceptionally generous. I'd say it's about maybe 70% capacity. Obviously, you know, you take the Green Brigade out of that mathematical equation already, because we know that they're preemptively not going to be there anyway. So that's fun. It's like we're doing everything possible to make the atmosphere as dull as can be for the boys, but means not as far as trying that. coming off if we can keep it moving, but just seems to be the same kind of pass and play, go down the right hand flank, try and cause a bit of a problem, but got to give Falkirk their credit, man, they're defending quite resolutely at times, although we're putting it around calm enough, which is nice. It's decent for skills though. But again, it's the same fucking thing. You try and pop it in behind, Falkirk just send the one man forward at the right time. That time it's Spencer, and it's actually a really good follow through pass as well. Yeah, it seems like Falkirk are having a bit of a better opening stint than us. Has to be said. Got to give them credit. I'm not saying that fully convincingly because, I mean, as you would expect, it's been pretty quiet in that sense, but what can you expect? Sorry, my throat's decided now is the perfect time it wants to be weird. Always love streams like this because fucking everything tends to go to crap for the first like 30-40 minutes and then it's fine. I tried to engage in a small press though. Could have worked out, didn't necessarily have the right equation. I thought we'll have a throw in just about in the halfway line. Calm off, good pass as well. We're playing a very dangerous game at the back, man. There's a few times where they've went to dance forward and I mean that's twice Scales has been caught within about 5 yards of the first touch. He's done well to get it back to Schmeichel there, but again Falkirk's high line is definitely the early pick out. It's a nice wee pass for Dane, but again, just a bit too adventurous with the second one. That's, for fuck's sake, yeah, right into the middle of them. Falkirk steal it back. Not exactly the pass you want to be going for, but Araujo does really fucking well to win that back. Yang tries to maintain it, dances around, the Mexicans there alongside him, but he plays it forward. Force Finchara instead. Negrin and Maeda kind of loitering up there. And good wee touch for Maeda, but a bit too much. Well, too soft, I should say. Nice to see you, Mark. Hope you well, man. Martin Dale's the new sporting director of Livingston. I mean, fair enough, he has been a decent servant to them for time. That's a decent break forward, actually. Negrin's done well to try and thread that in. Oh. Good call out, got to give them credit. And straight away they look to get up the line, and that's a lovely ball. They're really trying to go for this. Again, it's the right idea. But I think both teams are having a similar issue where they want to try and get the ball into the box as fast as possible, but they don't necessarily have the most pace-based runners. You got to say, Spencer's the player to pick out for Falkirk so far. Because he's kind of pushing out for the rest of the midfielders when we've got the ball, but the second we get it, he drops in flat and it kind of makes it a wee bit more interesting positionally. Because it means that McGregor has to basically willingly take that approach to go forward, and the issue with playing with the two up front is just the simple fact that if you get caught in the midfield like McGregor might do at least once or twice, because he likes to kind of take that extra touch to make sure the pass is assured. The question will be, can he get caught out? Because again, the way McGlynn's got his boys set up, it's very press and counter-intuitive. You know, they like to know where they're at. Nice to see you, Robertson. Hope you're well, my guy. It's a good pop out, actually. There's another good run down that side. They're trying their best to force the issue. Far flank, that's a good ball in. Falkirk gets the header down. Good save. Schmeichel, it's a massive one as well. Tell you what, really should have been a potential opener for the Bairns. It was a solid header, man. Oof, good wee tip around the post. Slight question of offside, but the flag didn't go up or anything, so it's not as if it can be called back for, I think, a corner kicks to come in. But nonetheless, good awareness for the Dane. Something we don't say very often. There's applause going around the stadium for something, but I've got all my shit muted, so I can't honestly tell. There's another really good ball into the box for Falkirk, and it just doesn't go their way again. Could have been one of the big, well, could have been either one of the centre backs who got on the end of that. I can't tell. There's like a kerfuffle in the midfield. part of that like 6-yard box, let's be honest. Everyone's congressed in there. I think it was Stewart in the end that tried to pop his head on it, and it just didn't necessarily work out for him. A little unlucky from his perspective, you got to say, but we're not going to argue with it too much. Nice to see you, Alan. Hope you're well, brother. Always nice to see a friendly and familiar face. Good pass out for Dane there. That's a bit better, wee man. I said I'm always a wee bit sceptical whenever I see you play. I want to see some consistency today. Not too much in the opening 10 minutes or so, I'll be honest, but can't really say anyone in the team looks like they've settled into their performance. The only one that's really done what he's needed to do is Schmeichel with that save. That's a good ball in behind as soon as I fucking say that though. That's a great chase in for Maeda. The ball into the box is again very similar to what Falkirk just did to us about a minute and a half ago. Great timed run, really good ball into the box, but just the lack of pacey runners to put the defenders under pressure, and it's a very calm tap away, to be honest with you. Yeah, just kind of slices it out for a corner, but it's better safe than sorry in those situations, it's got to be said. Let's see what happens here. Potential corner. May have been dangerous on these, especially in Europe. It's not bad as well. It's a decent header. It's a really good defensive header actually for Falkirk. They had to get up there as fast as possible, and just at the last second I thought like Scales was going to get his head on it, and then it's just a wee dude that pops up from nowhere and just kind of gets it away. I think it was Alan there that managed to just do enough. I'm not totally convinced by the opening stint of the game, first I'll be real. We've been pretty good in certain aspects, but Falkirk have probably had the better opening stint of this match, has to be said. And I'm pretty sure the second half would have kicked off by now. Yeah, between Hibs and Rangers. So we'll keep a tab on that one as well, obviously, because it still has a few potential interesting scenarios for the table. I'm just holding up because there was another good corner to be swung in there. Young's got it from the edge of the area. It takes another deflection. And Falkirk try and header that one forward. And it's not a bad header, by the way. It's a decent opportunity there. Stewart chases it down, but McGregor's there to stick with him, thankfully. Nothing too dangerous in that sense. I'm just going to have a little check of the score. In fact, can someone in chat maybe do it? What's the score between the last year's Old Firm? That's a decent, I was going to say it was a really decent touch at first, but Falkirk won it back quite calmly in the end, and they could potentially break forward. That's a bit of a sliced pass through the midfield, but should retain it and still have the chance to go at them, man. That's a good turn as well. They're still going at it. Araujo does well to body block, but again he's having to step in a little bit, and it's just stretching our defence in a way that we might not like. Dane doesn't really do much to deal with that one, but again Araujo comes in to cover his ass. It's just a little lacklustre. Celtic do well to play it out for the back, but the second touch is awful. Maeda tries to get in front for that one, but does well to force the error on the pass, so we'll take that. It was Alan that just tried to take the quick route pass. We caught him off earlier, that's good. Yep, still 3-2. Close game apparently. Nice to see it at least. I'll absolutely take that. That's a good break forward. Oh, that's a great tap. Fuck's sake, man. Falkirk's midfield, you gotta give them credit here, man. Like, usually one of the things, I mean, if you've watched me long enough, you know that I try and be optimistic about any team that plays against us, whether they're good or bad, you give them credit, but Falkirk's midfield are genuinely very, very clever here. Because it's like I said, it's what Brad Spencer's doing. He's just dropping in whenever he's doing what he needs to do. He's not kind of doing anything silly. He's keeping the midfield in check almost. He's basically like the scout. Just kind of gandering ahead to see how our defenders react, and then just adjusting in real time. That's got to be a foul, ref, surely. One of them's got to be a foul for us. Referee says no to both. Instead, Falkirk get away with it, and they try and go with a, again, very clever long pass, but that one doesn't work out for their captain that time. Got to say, he's definitely a prevalent force for them so far. I use all day in chat though. Sorry that things have been a little bit kind of weird at the start of the stream, but we have calmed things down. It should be too bad now. But if there's any audio or you know, visual issues, if it starts lagging or something, just let me know. That's a good ball into the box. That could be something. Big chance. Crosser. It's not the pass. It really wasn't the pass. Maeda tried to make something out of it, but it was just, again, right idea to get out to the wings. But the ball into the box just lacking. Both teams very much guilty of that this game so far. It's probably the only thing that they're about even on, to be honest. This is once even the dog is asleep. Fair enough, David, can't even argue. Yeah, pretty, not necessarily quiet start to the game, but maybe just not as high energy as you would maybe expect. Falkirk are doing what you would fully expect of them. They're trying to take advantage of Celtic's fatigue from Thursday night. That is a pretty, it's a dangerous chat. I think a card might be coming out here. Probably a yellow, I'd say, but at the very least. I don't know if his studs were up, but McCann's in the book. Young seems to be alright with that, considering they're shaking hands. That's no bad to see. He definitely caught him late, but yeah, it just wasn't intentional. It's a fucking sore one. He's lucky that Yang managed to kind of get into the air, because if his if his foot was in the ground, that's a potential red card. I'll tell you that for free. But Yang just being clever and prioritising not losing his shin to that one. That's kind of you say, David. That's very kind of you say indeed. Considering the fact I feel like shit, that's about as good as a compliment as I'll get. Appreciate that, my guy. Very kind. We do have a free kick in a, I wouldn't say deadly area, but we can cause problems from it. We've got a lot of big boys that can certainly get a flick on. Maybe cause an issue or two. It's not a bad ball either. It goes over everybody though, and Falkirk will just let that roll out far side for the throw-in. Don't honestly blame them, they might as well take advantage. It was Dane that kind of got up at the back stick, so it's nice to see that he's getting involved, but unfortunately just a wee bit of inexperience not to see that it was going to kind of hang in the air for that extra second, so just mistimes it a little. But he's trying to get involved. That's, you know, you take the small positives, even if they are very, very unbelievably tiny. But I've been pretty sceptical of the boys. I'd love to see a really good performance in the day. That's a real hope. I thought he was going to fucking shoot there. That would have been insane. That does well and holds it up. The pass is woeful. Again, it seems like whenever we get into that area, that's a shot for range. It's not a bad one either. Got to love that. Got to love it for Tierney. He tried his best. It was a solid attempt, but fortunately couldn't recreate that well-known finishing ability from range. It was well struck. There was nothing really wrong with it. He just ran onto it a bit too much pace, and in turn the shot was always going to be very hard struck. But Celtic are growing into the game a little bit more. That's another loose ball. Svenchara tried to kind of dart in to cover it, but Allen deals with it very well. Give him credit where it's due. Nice to see you, Harry, mate. As always, gracing us with your presence with a thumbs up and the Irish flag. Beautiful to see, my guy. Hope you well. That's a good ball forward. Again, Araujo's the pick out for me so far. Good hold up for Svenchara, that's decent. Nice wee run there. The ball takes a slight nick off a Falkirk player, but should still get through to McGregor, and does. Quick shift for Scales. Calm enough. Dane gets it in them just outside in the semicircle inside Falkirk's half. That's a good little take and touch again. Svenchara's doing the hold up work while Negron's pretty much running off of him. It's not a bad touch for Yang. That second touch is gorgeous. The third one makes it a wee bit awkward, but he's still trying his best. Gets the ball across the face of the box, and I can respect that much. It was a good wee hustle. McGregor's there to steal it back as well. Hold on, we're not done just quite yet. Still in a dangerous area for sure. Scales has it. Just pops it out to the side, and it's calm enough. Dane back into space. McGregor shifts it, keeps it calm, and more importantly close to himself. It's all you can really ask. Decent enough for Scales again. Tries to just gander forward. The bird just flew past the camera there. That's funny. And Falkirk again just stick their toes on the end of that one. Gets out for the far side for a corner. Seems like Allen's doing a lot of the defensive work for them so far. Can't say I'm too displeased at the bounce back. The opening 10 minutes, you would definitely say it belonged to Falkirk. The last 10, 100% more in Celtic's favour. Let's have a little score checky updatey. Nothing really changing apart from the fact that Hibs have had more chances. They've had an extra 2 shots this half apparently, but nothing on Rangers' end. We do have another corner to swing in. That's not actually a bad one. It's well cleared away by Falkirk. Getting credit. I don't know who was on the end of it because their shot numbers are back to me, so don't know which one that was, I'll be honest. Good hold up play on the edge of the area from us, trying to keep it in play. Does well. Lovely feet. Decent hustle. Nice one. I respect it. Good effort and good hustle for the Belgian. Equally decent for, again, Falkirk defensively. Very solid. A lot of heavy lifting down that right hand side between Wilson and Allen. Can't say Henderson's had too much to do on the other flank, but McCann's obviously gone in the book for a challenge on Yang, so well, certainly causing a fallback some issues. Makes me wonder why we've gone with 2 up front. We could have probably just stayed with the 4-3-3 and we would have had some anchored chances. That's a deflection. I think it came off a Celtic player to block the route to goal, but I don't think it would have caused too many problems even if it did, to be honest. Araujo will just gather it. It's nice to see him playing with a lot of confidence. Nice wee switch for McGregor. It's, well, actually a fucking brilliant timed header. It could still be dangerous. Ball bounces around again. Falkirk get the luck of the draw. Schwanchara tries his best to bundle in at the right time, but unfortunately catches his man out, and it's going to be a simple free kick for them. I wouldn't say Yang's been too bad so far in this opening. He could have done better with the cross. I would say that's maybe the one downfall I'd say for him so far. But I think overall pretty decent across the board. Can't really complain about what we're seeing too much here. There's a good switch forward if we can get Schwanchara on the end of it. He does well to fake out one and then gets absolutely bundled. That's got to be a foul, yeah, surely. Bro wasn't even trying to win the ball at that point. He was just trying to piggyback Schwanchara, but Henderson dodges the yellow. It's a good hold-up play there. I love that for the check. But yeah, it does catch him in the top of the head as well. We do have a set piece for about 40 odd yards out. We've taken it quickly though. Calm enough as long as we keep it. Jesus Christ, yeah, we do just about. Dane, good pass out towards the flank. Araujo is more further forward than fucking Yang is at the moment. Like I said, he's pushing further forward and doing a lot of the heavy lifting. Lovely pass for Scales, not the greatest touch for Dyson, but he does well. There's half appeals for a penalty there, but I don't think anyone will be given, so my either just says fuck that, gets up, runs over and decks his man instead. I suppose that's what happens when you dishonour him. I mean, we'll see the kind of replay here if he gets clipped on the way into the box. Nah, he just kind of gets body blocked there quite comfortably by Wilson, and in turn Wilson gets floored. Just that fucking image. Come on, do something. It's that dude with a stick. Well, we've certainly grown into the game bit by bit, but it's at the speed of a potato. At this rate we might get a solid chance on goal in a couple working months, but for now it's very much still early doors. But again, Falkirk are pressing in little bursts. They're like going hard for 5 minutes and then they're stepping off for 5 minutes to conserve their energy. It's effective either trying to keep a team on their toes. That's, oh my god, Dyson, fucking hell son, that is a great run. I don't mind the fact that he lost the ball there because he got through about 4 or 5 of them and he just couldn't really keep his balance towards the end of it. Damn respectful hustle though. As far as opening stints go, we can't really complain. But well, there's a bit of a dead zone in this game. Now, if you are new here, please consider subscribing, it helps us out. If not, and you already are subscribed, then please consider liking the stream. It's the best thing you can do to help us. We usually set the goals at about 20-25, so any help towards that would be very kind. Oh, that's good. That was nice, actually. Hold on, Araujo's done well to spin that in behind. The touch from Yang is absolutely fucking brilliant. Good shot, good save, Scott Bain. Give him credit where he's due. He had to decide early on whether he had to stick at his near post or spread and sprawl to try and cover the far one. Decided to keep the near post covered, and it was smart because it was, again, very well taken. I think Yang would have been offside anyway, and I think the flag's gone up, but I respect it a lot. The shot was very well hit. He was definitely offside, yeah, but again, very similar to how Falkirk were offside and managed to get a corner about 10 minutes ago. Linesmen have seemingly returned the favour. The ball into the box is awful. Yeah, you could tell as soon as that was hit, Bain was going to have ample time to get a reaction punch on that, but we're still in a dangerous area. Unless it took an Celtic Celtic player on the way out. I hope that's not the case. Should be a throw in for us. It was a nice wee touch for Yang, and the shot wasn't half bad either. If it did go in, I think it would have been probably disallowed. But a little bit better face, signs of life at least. Bit of a... Oh, Araujo's having a bit of a scrap, please don't. Last thing we need is any more players and potential bookings. It was Miller and Araujo that got in it there. Don't think you might tangle with the Mexican in the form he's in right now. He's had a bit of a positive impact since he's came in from Bournemouth, I would say. Not overwhelming, but yeah, I mean, Miller was grabbing his shot. And that's apparently a foul for Falkirk as well. A bit soft that one, I'll be honest, but referee's been a bit stop and start, to be honest with you. It's like every 2-3 fucking seconds there's like a break and play, break and passage, break and play, break and passage. Let's see what's happening in this one. No new chances to speak of. Although Rangers have gone up an extra percent in possession, so I suppose there's that. Maybe that symbolises they're trying to go for a press or something, who fucking knows. Yeah, you're going, son. Man, I heard that saying in time, man. It's a good ball forward for Scales if the chase down's on anyway, but this is what I'm saying. I feel like we should just go back to the 4-3-3, because Nygren being like pushed that far forward, it means that he isn't naturally in that pocket of space where a loose header or a kind of deflected pass could bounce. He's a bit too far forward, and Fanchara's doing okay with the hold-up play, so I don't understand what Nygren's role here necessarily is. I get it's just to be an off-runner for Fanchara, just so that it keeps Falkirk's defence on their toes and probably forces Henderson to stay a bit further back, but I think on the face of play you might be just smarter dropping Nygren in, because again, a lot of the times we're losing the ball, it's in the midfield, and exactly like that, you don't want to be doing it in the midfield, because then you're having Scales and fucking Dane Murray defending against 2 or 3 breaking runners. It's a good ball into the box, although the flag should go up for offside there. For now it stays down. I think the linesmen on both sides are just blind. It looked quite comfortably after, but good challenge for Falkirk to get that off his Fanchara. Slight appeals for the check, but can't really argue with that too much. Araujo will win that one back. He seems to be further forward than Yang at any given time. Falkirk once again just body block, get themselves into that triangle around them, and eventually deal with it. Day that time upon that. Let's see what this rating so far. Apparently the best player on the pitch is Allen for Falkirk. According to the ratings so far, Tierney a close second, probably just after that half decent chance they had. Can't say either team's had a golden opportunity per se, but good half chances for either side. Falkirk more or less for their set pieces, us probably with that Yang chance it was off, if not that Tierney shot. Oh, that's a lovely piece of footwork. That's really good if he can get to that one decent hold up again from the bench. You've got to give them fucking genuinely, if they tip the hat the way that McGlynn's got his boys set up here, it's damn impressive, because like that straight away trying to break, Wilson tries to get forward, McGregor sticks his leg in the way. I don't think that's a foul. That's not a foul. Referee, man, you've got to admire the inconsistency, because they're doing that shit basically the whole time and nothing at all. Araujo was getting manhandled by about 3 or 4 dudes about 50 seconds ago, but Wilson goes down under admittedly very light pressure. McGregor doesn't even put his hands on him, he just bumps into him. A soft foul, but a foul nonetheless, I guess. Interesting. Appreciate that, guys. This is a draw by so white attacking. I mean, you don't want to base it off of the first like half an hour of play, right? If we did that, then last match we would have expected to beat Utrecht about fucking 25-0. So what you would expect, like Celtic would stave off the kind of pressure that Falkirk would put on, and we seemingly dealt with the big burst at the half. It could come towards the end, admittedly, but again, it's just, for me, it's the shape that we're playing that's the issue, not so much the actual style of play, because again, the passing's fine, we're getting into the right areas, it's just the final ball into the box and the loose balls that we can't really get to, because again, Nygren usually would be the one that kind of picks up on those loose balls in the final third to allow Fanchara to do the runs, but because Fanchara's doing the hold-up play, Nygren's basically just anchoring off of Maeda, it seems, trying to see if there's any loose passes or runs he can assist with, but it's not really natural for him, and it's kind of noticeable. That's a very crucial tackle for McGregor there, otherwise it would have been a potential breaking chance there for Morse. Oh, he's taking an awkward bounce. Maeda might get there, does well to hold it up, please big man, solid. That's, again, fucking good defence. There's a guy on the pitch without a shirt on his back, a number on his back I should say. That's interesting. We've won it up in the final third anyway. The ball in isn't half bad, but again, you're just trying to pick out anyone in the box, and Nygren isn't in the box of that situation, it's just Fanchara, so what is Nygren's role there? I don't get it. Maybe O'Neill's trying to have him like individually man-mark one of the midfielders. He could actually have him on Spence. That might be the play, to be honest, but it'd still entail him drawing him back a little bit. That's well overhit as a cross, and Yang overran it anyway, so Araujo's going to try his best to get there, just does a wee dance over it, casts a spell and then passes it off towards McGregor, calm enough. Nice. Oof, decent step out there. But Skills keeps it calm enough, very decent. Got to move it faster than that though. Dane passes it in, first touch for Yang's a little lacklustre, the second one's a bit better and the third one's awful. And us with the Goldilocks treatment there, that's a lovely challenge for Scales to stick his leg out in the nick of time, but it's out far side for a throw in, Falkirk potential break. For anyone that is watching this game, what do you feel like the route of goal could probably come here? Because like the way that I'm looking at this, realistically, it would probably have to be like a loose bounce through on the final third, and maybe Fanchara gets in the end of a run, that type of situation, but yeah, not exactly ideal from us. Maedovsky. I don't think there's anything confirmed, to be honest with you, David. I fucking hope not, unless we have a genuine replacement. Because after this game we'd have the better part of 24 hours to get any confirmed final signings in, and it seems like the board have no interest in doing so. We've been linked with a bunch of different fucking names, but it's the same old same old. The board just don't seem interested in actually giving a fuck, and they wonder why we don't want them really having control of the funds. Just silly, considering the fact we could get some decent loan signings in at any point in time. It's not that hard to get a loan signing in. Different if you're trying to get someone in on a permanent transfer though. So my hope is that either after this game or really early tomorrow, where there's like an announcement where we've signed like 2 or 3 players. Like remember when Postecoglou came in the first season, and then in this like the January transfer window we signed like 3 or 4. Right in the last kind of 2-3 day stint. That's kind of what we need this time round. I'm not expecting them to be powerful, you know, club changing signings or anything, but stability is a very crucial aspect in maintaining a decent challenge on a title run, and that's, you know, that's pretty much what Hearts have been doing very well. just being consistent when other teams haven't been. So if Celtic can come in and make those changes, get the right signings in, it could help, at least with that consistency. That's maybe onside, maybe offside, I'm not too sure. For now the flag stays down, Arao has to get his leg across, and apparently it's a corner. There was about 2 things wrong. I don't know what the fucking linesmen are doing, but he looked offside there, was he? Yes, he was offside, but of course the flag doesn't go up. That's like 4 times now. 3 for Falkirk, 1 for us. Are the linesmen actually like aware? Are they conscious? Nah, well, maybe we need to carry their weight a wee bit more. That's a brilliant challenge clearance, but it's still dangerous for Falkirk to have a shot for range. It's not too dangerous, kind of similar to what Tierney had about 20 odd minutes ago. A wee bit further off target admittedly, but still something of a threat. Have a little switch and gander, see what's happening. Any other chances? Nope. Seems like they're trying to play out a draw in that game as well. I mean, for Hearts it'll be best case scenario, right? If Celtic and Rangers both draw today, then class. Oh, the ball into the box was decent. I really think we should just push Nygren back a bit, man. Have that extra man in the midfield, because Finchara's doing a lot of the hold-up play on his own there. And again, he was trying to like lay off the header for that late run of Nygren, but again, Nygren's overclocked it, but he's just not naturally inclined in that area. If you're going to be playing him as a striker, you're going to need to take Finchara off and put an actual midfielder on to let Nygren do those free roams. Otherwise, just drop Nygren back a little bit and it allows the wingers for us to get a bit further forward, because Yang and Maeda can just basically over encumber. It means that Araujo isn't stepping 20-30 fucking yards up the pitch to cover for Dane. Just a couple of wee tweaks could make this side play a hell of a lot more effectively, but I've got to trust O'Neill's process so far. We haven't conceded, and that in itself is a fucking miracle. Motherwell have closed the gap on us. Yeah, they were very convincing in their game. 2-0, I believe, right? Last week he said was very good in that match. Another player that we were linked by about 5 or 6 times and probably won't sign. Could be shit for McGregor there, gets out of scales. We've got about 7-8 minutes left in this half. If we want to go for this, we're going to have to go for it now. Ball in isn't half bad. The flick on is decent, it's off the post! It's in! We've got one! Finchara gets there with a light. It's a very delicate flick on off the header, but very similar to the last game at Falkirk. We scored just before the end of the half at a very crucial time after a pretty well-rounded cross and well-rounded header. We've got ourselves a goal, boys. We're in front. Decent. Seems what happens when you have an actual striker. Lovely start of it as well. Nice wee cam ball in for Scales. The quick shift and cross. Absolutely dead to rights, man. Absolutely brilliant for Tierney. Finds it perfectly. Finchara's there. Just rolls it off the top of his noggin. Goes across the kind of face of the 6-yard box towards the keeper's far post, and he can't stretch his arms out in time. Hits that post, rolls across the line and hits the side netting on the other side. Bellissimo. Fucking excellent, Finchara. Thank you very much, big man. Nice to see. We've got ourselves a lead to protect. And all of a sudden the gas just turns up a wee bit more on Rangers, because unless they start firing on all cylinders, Celtic are pretty much as it stands guaranteed to just hopscotch right back into the same place they were previous to the last match day. It's a good switch forward for Falkirk. That'll piss Falkirk off as well, in the sense of the fact that it's literally the exact same script as the last match will, you know what I mean? Moore scored, oh shit, well there you go. And it was offside, well, fuck's sake, case in point. Nice to see Elos, as always, brother. Ah, James, nice to see you, mate, as well. Going for a 2-0. Well, I'm still on the 2-1 board. I mean, Falkirk, they haven't been what you would call offensively creative in a lot of aspects this half, but you feel like in the second half they're going to be like, fuck it, we've got nothing to lose, they'll go for it in the final 15-20 minutes, they could get one. That's why ideally I'd like us to have that second before they get the equaliser. Because if it's 2-0 up in 80th minute and it's, they score, you're like, it is what it is. I like how we do that with every single person that's called Thomas that comes into this club. So, nah, you're no longer Thomas, mate. And, I mean, it's not even Thomas, right? He's Czech, right? So it's Tomas. Right? His name's like Tomas Fanchara, but we're just like, nah, you're Tam now. And just like Tam, Godlaw's a try, and he tried to get his head on the end of that one and didn't scored, and we love to see it. Good, authentic striker type of goal. But again, doesn't mean the job's done. Not by a long shot, still have to be very much switched on to get to the end of this one with everything intact anyway. Nice to see you, Arda, man. How you feeling? Pretty alright. I'm a little kind of under the weather, I'll be honest with you, here and there, but kind of comes with the territory when you've got like 20 different things that are wrong with you. For the most part, pretty good. It's just more or less fatigue, if anything. Should be a ball in the box for Falkirk here. It's going to be up and on. Oh, it's actually very awkward. It's deflected. What the fuck? Casper gets on the end of it eventually. That really could have bounced anywhere, and thankfully for us, it's I need to see exactly what happened when it bounced back in. It came up. I mean, yeah, Schmeichel does drop it, but his body was over the ball, thankfully. Always keep the faith. I'm right, mate. Faith in the club, not so much the people that run it. Unless there's a whole bunch of signings, like we just talked about. I don't want to bitch about it too much, but I feel like a lot of Celtic fans are in the same boat on that front. Just want to see a bit more ambition. But Fanchara's proven his worth so far. I've not seen too many minutes for him overall since he's been signed, but for the bits that we have seen, solid hold-up player. Likes to be physical, likes to get on the end of a header. Traditional, classic, Baltic type of striker, you know what I mean? Traditional Scandi style. Even though he's from Czech, well, I know he's from the Czech Republic, you could say it's that kind of Eastern Europe style, but not quite, because he's actually a bit more technical than that. He's actually good with the ball at his feet as well. That's a decent ball in for Tierney, could take an upward deflection. Araujo was just loitering. Have a crack, big man, you might as well. Does have a crack, it's poor, to say the least, but I respect it, Might as well go for it in that instance. Dane's just giving the ball away again, that's not nice, but fucking excellent for on. Not seen that for you in a good bit of time, big man. Lovely step in, and McGregor just dances between the other two. I think it was Tate Spencer tried to, well, Tate Spencer I should say, sorry, they tried to like get on the end of that one, but McGregor's just like, no thank you. Nice wee pass, that's better for you, Dane. There we go, those passes are the ones we like to see. Yang's going to drive it, his man cuts inside, and then does that, I guess. Okay, fair enough. Well, he lost the ball, I'll say that nicely, but that was stupid as hell, I'll be honest. Good little breakaway chance, but Araujo is doing very, very well at keeping them like really concerned on that right hand side. They can't go down the flanks without like Falkirk having to commit 2 or 3 bodies to make sure that Araujo can't get in behind to play that simple through ball to Yang. It's working out, because one decent switch goes over to Maeda, and all of a sudden you've got the pace and burners that he's got in those legs of his, and he can break into the box and cause some problems. If not, then he can just lay it after Tierney in the same, rinse and repeat process. He's switching it over, trying to cause problems here and there. It's very convincing, right? We've played a lot better. Falkirk, you gave them the first 10 minutes. They were absolutely the better side in the first 10 minutes, but for the remainder of the half, got to say it's a lot more in Celtic's favour. A second right before the end of it would be massive. Running additional time now, so it would be nice to see us grab one at this point in time. It's flicked on and could have gone anywhere, to be honest, doesn't in the end produced too much of a threat, but we're still on it and causing problems. 50 odd seconds left. Because the referee usually adds on time beforehand, so you probably get an extra 30 seconds over the minute, right? Unless the referee can't be asked as much as some of the players on this pitch have before performing. Like, I'd say that's probably the issue, right? It's just a bit of a shit show. That's a poor giveaway, fuck's sake, right as I say that. Nice, and he slipped for good measure. Brilliant. Falkirk have a chance right at the end of the half. That's better, my head. I love the lay. There we go. Showing on how it's done. And Fanchara tries to hold up and does actually keep it in play. Like, this is what I'm saying, he's good with his feet. He just obviously doesn't go anywhere. It's not going to cause too many problems, but I respect the hustle. I respect it a lot. I still don't understand what Nygren's doing though. They're dropping back into the midfield just gives us that bit of a calmer inclination just to not lose the ball. I think that's half time anyway. Can't complain about it. Very decent overall. It's one of those ones I'm going to be real with you. We could have been better, could have been a lot worse, but at the end of it all we're leading and that's about as good as we can ask. It's very fundamentally okay. We're not going to complain about it. If it plays out the exact same as the last time we played the Burns, then I'll happily fucking take that. I'm just trying to see what the final score was between apparently it's 3-3 in between that Old Firm Derby in the Women's League. Laura Berry apparently, so 3-3 in that one. Interesting. Let's see what's happening between the actual men's team though. Still no. Oh my god, man, they are. I'm going to hope it's just because of a refresh. No, they have genuinely just been absolute ass today, apparently. One shot on target, one shot off target to. I mean, if you're just going out, it's 2 shots for Rangers, 11 for Hibs. And this isn't exactly a Hibs team that's in the best of form. I mean, they're trying to fight their way back in, admittedly. They're not out the race entirely, but kind of in the same boat Falkirk are in, where they kind of just need to win for the sake of pride, but they're hanging in there. It only benefits us, and it absolutely benefits the Jambos at top. I mean, it'd be one of the results where you feel like the Hearts fans would actually be thanking the Hibs ones for digging a result of this out. But half time in the game that actually matters, and it's pretty interesting. If Fanchara's header's the telling difference between the two sides so far. I mean, it's not been a game for many chances. I mean, 2 or 3 for both sides could have been potentially a bit more threatening, but I think overall, I mean, Celtic have been just slightly the better team, very even in terms of actual chances, but in terms of possession, in terms of, you know, ball control, the simple stuff being done right, Celtic have absolutely been the dominant team so far. I think the only issue for me is the fact that, again, with the formation that we're playing right now, I don't understand, like, just drop him in here, like literally into that little space, and let Fanchara free roam. Push Yang up a little bit, push Maeda up a little bit, allows Tierney and Araujo to play as their original fallback positions. If you want to, if you really want to, take off Arm, push McGregor into the midfield, and then if you're asking me personally, based on who we've got option-wise, McCowan. Get McCowan on, let him do what he needs to do. If Maeda gets tired, then that's a substitute change immediately down that left-hand side for Tenekte. We have options and definitely ways we can adjust and counteract this stale points to the game, but for the most part, I can't really bitch at what we've seen so far. Nice to see you, Megan. Hope you're well. Hope Rangers don't get a penalty. See if they get one in added time, then we riot. Not too bad, honestly, Megan, as we were just kind of talking about there. The goal was very nice. It was beautifully worked. The ball in for Tierney. He's got his crossing boots back, which is nice to see. It was a lovely direct ball into the box, and genuinely a lovely header for Fanchara, because if he tries to put power on it, it's going to go near post, and you would imagine Bain would be able to get a pretty strong wrist to it at least, but he just kind of softly lays it off the top of his head, and it just kind of glides over to the far post, hits it, and then rolls back into the side net. If you're watching the game live, you can attest and say it's a very nice goal. It's genuinely solid. We've actually got ourselves a striker that seems to be somewhat aware in the box, which is very, very nice to see, man. It's unbelievably nice to see, because, again, for the few minutes that we've seen from him, solid hold-up player, knows how to be technical on the ball. Cannot argue with that. I mean, as long as he doesn't get injured, that's my concern, just based off of his career profile. We want to keep him as fit as possible. Oh, that's kind of you. I love how everyone's wishing, hoping that I'm well. That's very nice, say this. I've got a very nice community, haven't I? Game over for us, now 2 minutes left and it's in a 1-1 draw. I just answered that question there, Megan. I suppose that will become in like 10-15 seconds after you've typed it, but very decent. I like what I'm seeing. We are now 90 minutes in and it seems like, I mean, what's the summary, does it? Ooh, apparently there's some drama in that one. I can't play it for obvious reasons, but Raskin's being a spicy little Belgian. Ooh. A couple of cards in that one as well, but fair enough. Live action is just, they're all dead. They have perished. Is that a thing you can do on this, actually? I suppose you can, right? Like if I do this and then well, there's a bit more of an advanced breakdown, actually, I suppose. We've had exactly 64.6%. If you're a percentage player, then I suppose there's that, I guess. But very even otherwise. But I think I just slightly prefer the stats one, just because it's an actual live breakdown. So, I mean, Hibs are the team that are going for it based on this one. Absolutely. We'll keep a tab on this one just as it closes out. I think it's full time between the Celtic women's and Rangers women's. I think that game ended 3 apiece, although I will check just taking vol. Apparently Celtic missed a penalty right at the end. So there's 3 penalties in that game. Still going though. Interesting. Into extra time in that one. Six additional minutes. Jesus Christ, they really are going for it. These loan boys could end up being elite business, having no expensive players coming in on try before you buy bases instead of spending 11 million on them in jails. Well, I mean, you're not wrong in that sense. I feel like, I mean, that's why this Fanchara signing I wasn't too pissed off with, because I'm like, it's actually smart business because he is injury prone. He hasn't been really consistent when it comes to getting minutes, especially when he was out on loan up until January. So from that perspective, yeah, it's nice to see, because obviously if he's up to speed, he hits the ground running, starts scoring a bunch of goals, and actually has a very, you know, major contribution to the team's success between now and the end of the season. There is no reason not to sign him. But because obviously Gladbach's pre-set a price, and it's like, well, you can't buy him for this. Celtic are in a great position because it's not in the sense of what happened with, you know, Ida and Norwich, where they'll just bump the price up 4 or 5 times right before we buy him, because obviously they, you know, they're English and they're grade A bastards. For Germany, they don't work on that basis. They work on like pre-contract basis. So they'll be like, look, if you give us a decent amount, we'll make that agreement now. And I think for Sinchara it'll probably be, I'd imagine, around 6.5 to 8 million, around that kind of figure. Which again, if he plays well, then would be a very interesting one to see if we pull the trigger on, because I like what I'm seeing from him so far. Decent hold up player, he knows what he's doing. It's, you know, small little things to smile about, you know what I mean. But we still definitely need to get a couple of signings in between now and the end of this Wednesday, because let's be honest, we definitely probably need at least another centre back, especially since we let Simpson Pussy just disappear. I don't understand why we even brought him in on loan in the first place. I think I've seen him like for 20 minutes and that was it. So there is that. Obviously with Yamada going off on loan as well, and well, it is what it is in that sense, you know what I mean, because, you know, Fanchara, if he gets injured, then we're back to the original position. So as long as Fanchara stays fit, very good piece of business. And if he does stay fit, then at least we know the fatigue isn't an issue and we could probably pull the trigger on him. Hibbsing it. I wouldn't say they're Hibbsing it at all. Hibbsing it would be like losing it last second. But seems to be the polar opposite in this game. It seems like they've been the dominant force. It's Rangers that seem to be hanging on based on Gazzy's words in the stat breakdown. Aye, very smart business indeed, Megan, you're not wrong. 1 goal and 1 assist in just over 90 minutes of football. It's a good stop. Exactly it. You know what I mean? We cannot argue with the basics of impact, and I mean, like I said, he's basically did what Kelechi did. You know, came in the first game, decent contribution. We just don't want the same thing to repeat where he gets injured like a month into his form and then all of a sudden you're back to, you know, square uno. But ball 95 minutes have been and gone in the Hibs Rangers game. I'm just keeping tabs on the yeah, there you go. Half time and extra time in that one still. I mean, fuck's sake, if you're a neutral, you're absolutely loving that game. 3 goals apiece. Oh no, I'm basing off of, well, like, literally, like, you know, I've got my phone, so I'm looking through little clips and stuff, because again, if you go on to, like, live score and then you click, like, highlights, I'm pretty sure summary as well, you have little things that you can go and look at. I can't play them for obvious reasons, but, you know, you can basically find a bunch of clips and shit on Twitter. I'm just looking through to see what's happened, and yeah, seems like Hibs have definitely been the better side in this match, but, I mean, a point's not a bad result for them. It's definitely not a bad result for us. We'll take that, because if we get across the line against Falkirk today, basically back where as is, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure it is where as. Yeah, I mean, if we score an extra goal anyway, so keep that in mind. If we decide to score a second, then yeah, we hop them. 1 goals for. Cool. So that's our goal. Get a second and we should be fine, but that's obviously unless there is some absolute shithousery last minute bullshit drama in this game. I really hope that's not the case. Well, there you go, confirmed. Full time, they have dropped points. So Hearts are back to 6 points clear. That will be good for them. And like you said, if they're ahead top of the table in February and they're ahead by a 1 or 2, you take them seriously. So Hearts, I take them seriously now. Got to respect them. There you go. Well, I mean, fair play to Hibs. I'm pretty sure that keeps them in the fight slightly. I mean, at the very least, it means that if Falkirk don't go ahead and win for you, they should be, you know, relatively fine in 5th. But they will be a bit disappointed they couldn't pick up the extra 2 points to try and close the distance on Motherwell. But, I mean, Celtic will not bitch about it in the slightest, because again, as long as we do what we need to here now, we should be okay. But, again, it's always up to interpretation, right? It's not a comfortable lead to have. Nice, all of everyone's like, yep, there we go. Yep, you're absolutely spot on, Grotails. Nice to see you, my guy. Definitely not the greatest result you would probably hope for if you're a Rangers fan. Let's be honest, that one's going to be a bit of a kick in the teeth, because it seems like it was just one of those games where they didn't have the fight. It's not been the same case here. We have had chances, but we just haven't really been trying to put the foot down, per se. Been pretty straightforward and basic in that sense. Oh yeah, they pure dumped like, what was it, 1.5 million files or some shit, despite the fact that they were literally like saying a few months ago the files didn't even exist. It's funny how that works, right? See, if you ever feel bad about yourself, just remember that your governments have decided 100% to protect a bunch of paedophiles because they bring profit to a country rather than the kids. That's all I need to say on that subject. But if that prick's involved, doesn't surprise me in the slightest. Really wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. I hope that's not the case, but Seems like anyone that's got any form of money that's in the millions department have probably bounced in and out of that island at least once, and that is concerning. Very concerning. Imagine what would have happened if you were a fucking normal bloke and you committed those crimes. You would never see the light of day again, but these cunts are actual politicians that are actually telling you how to think and feel. Genuinely convinced COVID killed all of us and this is a simulation. That's sarcasm, obviously, but fuck me, man. World's becoming a bit of a joke. Shopping at the break. Oh, fucking good for you. Try not to spend too much, man. That shit is expensive out there. Big class. Not bother at all. If we see you full time, we'll see you full time. At least you're out and about. Best thing you can ask. 2 documents with Desmond's name. It was more so about business investments. Right, okay, that makes more sense. Because, yeah, the island was literally originally used as a business venture point, right? It was where a lot of rich people went to make deals. But it over time turned into what it did, I guess. That's the argument a lot of the rich bastards are using that have been to the island. They're like, oh, I was there, but that was before it all kicked off in 2008. You're like, right. Whatever you say, bro. Whatever you say. Aye, like, fair enough. I mean, when I'm saying that if he was in the files, it wouldn't surprise me, because like every rich person pretty much is. It'd be a different story if he was in the files as like, you know, if he was pictured alongside Bill Clinton, sort of half Putin or something, then you'd be like, alright, well, yeah. But not the case there. We're about to come out for the second half anyway, so we're going to put that conversation on hold. Try to play a game of Snap, Alba. Hell yeah. Puts down a 2. The conspiracy be all, I don't know why, but the word's cut off though. We're back as a collective to fucking true. The hive mind. Fucking, like, do you know how, like, those Telltale games where it's like, you know, fucking your consequences of actions and pure affects the outcome of a game? Like, that is pretty much literally just go back to 2012 and just reset a few things. Second half's about to get underway, so let's reset ourselves for this half because we need to be on form, at least another goal, because 1-goal leads don't tend to be too beneficial for us. But so far, so good. Can't really complain, and immediately we try to get the ball into the box. Could have worked out there, just didn't quite bounce the right way. Nice to see everyone returning for the second half. Hope you're well and in good health. And that you've got your cups of tea or whatever else, and you're enjoying yourselves, because, I mean, as long as we have a decent second half here, it's a good day all round if you're a Celtic fan. It could get even better with some potential signings to be announced. I'm sure you have seen some of the links that we've had. The only one that's been outright confirmed as false now is the Freswan striker, or Freswan. I don't know how to pronounce that Italian team in the first or second division. Fuck, Maeda's down holding his kneecap. That's not a good sign. It's that his shin. Tierney's alongside him, because anytime someone holds that part of the leg, Tierney's like, bro, I feel that. Like, what? I mean, he hopped half the side and dropped immediately, so he's either took a really sore one, like a dead leg type scenario, which, yeah, by the looks of it, just kind of gets clipped, so just kind of, ya bastard, and hits down. Another 2 or 3 goals and I'll be happy. Another goal and I'll be chuffed. As long as those goals are for Celtic Goddamn Football Club and not for Falkirk, but, I mean, Falkirk are trying to break forward here, and that's a lovely pass. Got to give them credit. They're trying to break through. They might just shoot for range here, try and force the issue! My God, I thought that was in. It was a well-struck shot, but probably the angle of the camera made that look a little bit closer than it actually was. I suppose we'll get a better idea on the reverse angle, but the original breakaway was lovely. The ball through was clean. The shot wasn't half bad, actually, to be fair. It was probably about 2-3 yards at the keeper's left hand post, but I mean, the sheer ferocity of that strike could have made sure it bounced up off the surface and went anywhere, but thankfully for us, well wide in the end. And it looks like we're going to be forced into that early change, which is Bit of a surprise. It looks like it's, wait, 13? It's going to be Yang? Okay, well it's a like-for-like switch. I don't mind it too much. Yang's gone off on the sideline. I mean, a substitution's 2 minutes into the half isn't exactly something I was expecting, but James Forrester's on. Yang is off. He's not had the worst stint in the game. Probably just could have been a bit better with the final third passing, I suppose. That's probably about the only fault you can have with him. Arnold does well to do his wee dance to try and get past his man, but it's well stole. Falkirk are going to try and bounce forward on their own terms. Well stole by McGregor. Fucking excellent movement there. Tries to keep things condensed. The passing's decent, but doesn't necessarily work out on that occasion either. Falkirk are starting to try and play the breaking, counter-attacking game, and that's another... I mean, it was well over-hit, but the idea was there to try and pop it out, just slightly a bit too ambitious from Wilson there, you would have to say. But it seems that Falkirk have changed their shape just a wee bit slightly. Notice Marsh has dropped a wee bit deeper in just to make sure the team's a bit more condensed, especially towards that midfield area. They understand that if Nygren's going to be playing a bit more advanced, which still really seems to be the case, they might as well try and put that extra body there. Gives them more options on breaks. Just on goals for, if we score one more, we're one behind, so if we score one, dead on goals for, we're ahead, because positive goal difference and all that good jazz. But we still need the win, that's the minimum. Either way, being level on points ain't exactly a bad scenario for here, but Falkirk will do whatever they can to try and change that. You would imagine anyway. McCann has it down that far side, just dances a wee bit further forward, plays it back in the end towards, I think, Tate there in the end, switches it far side. I mean, again, this is what I don't like seeing at the start of the second half, how we just drop in about 10 or 15 yards. Young was the best 2 million we've ever spent in a while. I feel like for what he's brought to the team, he's definitely provided his worth. Right, you still feel like there's players that have yet to really prove that. Like, as much as Arn's been pretty consistent since he's been signed, he's just not felt like that end product 11 million player. Like, when you consider he was O'Reilly's replacement, you kind of realise, well, he's not on that quality. Even I could admit that he's still a hell of a player, but there's certain players that don't get as much shit for it as others. And I feel like Yang gets a lot of crap for a guy that cost 2 million and actually has been pretty decent when it comes to goal contributions, especially under Nancy. I'm pretty sure he was the only fucking player that actually got better under Nancy rather than worse. But I've said it from the start with Yang, he's not a, top tier player, but he's a brilliant utility player. He can dig his heels in, he's just a little bit slower than Maeda, so people don't appreciate him in that sense, and he's not as technical as Jota, so usually, if we had fully fit strikers and wingers, Yang probably wouldn't feature, but he's been a good servant, man. Top bloke. You can always commend a class act. And the man that came on for him is just as much of a class act as he is. Obviously, Forrest being one of the longer servants of the club. Just a slight break and play well. Falkirk set up this free kick. Man's just back up on his feet there. I mean, he did get clipped late, but I think, yeah, the agreement there is that it's unintentional and they're all kind of laughing at each other, so at least it's not a pure angry moment. But a set piece is, again, not exactly our preferred thing to defend. We get a little bit squirrely with these at times, so it's about trying to keep that from being problematic. And based on the way it was set up, it's that zonal shit again. We better see, please tell me Araujo drops in here. Right, okay, it's not fucking zonal. Yep, that's fine, as long as you put bodies in front, that's okay. It's another pop-up chance. With the back stick that time, I'm not sure which one gets in the end of it. Could have been, honestly, could have been Stewart again, I'm not honestly sure there, but ball into the box was lovely. But, yeah, the rest of them dropped in at the right time there just to put any extra space in front of the keeper. That's another really good break chance for us. The ball isn't half bad. Finchara stays with it to make it awkward. That's a good steal from Nygren actually. This is probably the one time where this has worked out for us. It's still dangerous. Headed down. Finchara gathers it out towards Forrest. You got to shoot this big man. Tries to take a touch. That's the one thing you don't need to do there. As a man that's left-footed, you take one touch to the side and you hit that. And instead tries to be too clever. We've lost it, and now Falkirk are on a 3v3 break. They've just tried to go for a shot for range, so they've just done something stupid in attacking as well. Bit nervy all round there for both sides, but yeah, Forrest should have done a lot better there, I have to be fully honest. That's a poor pass back from McGregor to, and he'll have to chase it down. Does a calm enough job of it, gets it back towards Schmeichel. Calm enough in the end. Played out on that far side, or Aho will just try and shimmy it forward where he can. Simple passing is decent. Yeah, just take the sting out of the attack a little. You need 4 here, David, Jesus Christ. I don't even think if we were in our bet. Well, I mean, Hunt's been taken down there, they might. Nah, okay, the referee is very inconsistent. Like, bro, I've seen the fouls you've been given, Falkirk. What the fuck do you mean that's not a foul? At least in real time, it looked like he got tripped up. Let's see if the replay clarifies anything. Does he? Nah, actually, no, the referee's right. I thought, well, he clipped him on the ankle there. No. Just stuck his leg out and couldn't maintain his balance. I thought McCann had clipped him, but fair enough. I don't know what that pass was for Tierney, but he's just giving it straight to them. And Celtic are under a bit of needless pressure here out towards Wilson on the far side. The ball in isn't half bad either. Celtic get bodies in the way, but it's not dealt with by anyone. Falkirk try and get it across the line. They've done a good job, and I think that was a back heel attempt. What the fuck? Doesn't work out. Falkirk still have it. Celtic still haven't cleared it. Takes a big deflection. This is getting a bit antsy now, lads. Fuck's sake. Forrest gets back to try and stop the run on that far side, but again, McCann's willing to take him on. Takes a bounce off him and throw in instead. Defences were at 5 and 6s there for us, and it still is dangerous. Cut inside, Araujo gets in front of it, gets his leg on the end of it and gets out for a throw, and at least it prevents the corner. Good hustling for the Mexican man. Things you love to see. Decent stuff, Araujo. I respect it, big fella. Digging his heels in the day. Probably my pick for man of the match so far, but it'll be a very close battle between him and Finchara, despite the fact he's not really had too many moments to shine, I should say. He's been pretty decent. That's another example of his hold-up play, and the Falkirk player has slipped and has allowed Finchara to put the burners on. He's got past this man. Big chance for Finchara. It's going to be softly hit in the end though, but under good pressure in the end from the Falkirk defence, and the shot just lacked the guile, and he's kind of signalling across to his men across on the far side, asking where the hell the runs were. I think he was hoping for a simple ball across the face of the box, but just a few tired legs maybe starting to kick in there because no Negrin with him. Like I said, I don't understand what Negrin's role is in this game, but we do need to consider dropping him back a little bit because Falkirk are starting to try and dominate that midfield battle and maintain a bit more of the possession. You might see it on your screen there in the bottom right corner. They've went for 35% possession into say about 3 minutes ago to 39. They've had a bit more of a stint on the ball. That's a good potential steal if he can pick it around his man, but yeah, it bounces off of him. I respect it though for Thomas. Not bad, Tammy boy, unlucky, but again, just trying to be too fancy in a situation where you maybe don't need to be. That's a lovely back heel for Falkirk though, shot from the edge of the area isn't half bad, and it cannons half the side net, and no striker there, just tried to get on the end of it. Not a bad attempt at all for Louis Marsh. Just, again, probably did what Forrest should have done on his left about 2 minutes ago. Just one step to the right to try and open up your good angle and hit it as hard as possible. Although, like a lot of Falkirk shots this game, they just haven't been between the sticks to cause too many problems. Got to commend the way they're digging in and trying to get forward though. Simple movement's decent there. Forrest just pops it back in the end towards Dune Murray. That's a good switch. Maybe a bit too much on it, but I can appreciate the idea. Again, just a little inconsistent today. He needs to be a tad better in that aspect, I'd say. Yeah, showing that's Fanchara a chance again. He was trying to kind of look for any open runs, and then that Falkirk chance, that, yeah, it's that, specifically the fucking ball across there. And it was Araujo that blocked it again. He's been pretty good this game as well. I said it's between him and Fanchara for man of the match. For me, Scales, I was going to say, why the fuck? He was out for a throw-in anyway, but honestly, I think Falkirk would have preferred if that had just been allowed to carry on. Delightful. Well, Scott Bain gets it. Just plays it across. Henderson across to Allen. And Akron just engages on a slight press to see what they do with that one, but calmly passed around. And eventually Bain sends it forward. It's not actually a bad ball, and it's a fucking excellent control touch as well. Got to give them credit there. But Celtic should defend this one relatively fine, and yep, a decent enough job of that. Scales heads it away, Tierney punts it forward, and get another really calm touch. I mean, Henderson and Allen are having a pretty condensed and calm game between the two of them. But anytime they get in the midfield, they're just trying to find that final third pass. It's kind of similar to how we approach the first 20 minutes ourselves in terms of like maintaining the ball, taking 5-minute stints on it, and then trying to break forward in one fell swoop. But Celtic have taken a much different approach in the second half, where it's more about just trying to keep Falkirk moving than anything. And if a lane opens up, take it, but it's not the prerogative. Decent for Scales, good switch out towards the left hand side. Maida might take his man on here, but he'll be under a bit of pressure if he does, so picks the smart move and pops it back. Calm enough in the end. Simple roll across. Scales should just gather this, decent enough. Dane might go for a long switch here, but calmly plays out towards that far side. Scott to Scott, here's Forrest. Good break in actually, really good break in. Have a shot this time, big man. That's better for you, but you need to shoot, you need to shoot, you need to shoot, you need to shoot there. For fuck's sake, Forrest, man. Like, the ability to get into space, brilliant. The run, absolutely superb. But why not pull the trigger the second you get away from McCann there? You need to try and cut that across on your left or lay it off. Instead tries to take that extra touch, and fuck me, Falkirk nearly gave it away in a horrible aspect there. That would have been fucking potentially detrimental to their game. They survive it, although Bain's ball out's a little overhand. They're under a bit of pressure again. Falkirk try and send it forward again with a long ball, but because Celtic are just again keeping Falkirk moving, that long ball isn't going to find anyone in a position that's too threatening, and Celtic can just retain and go again. It's a good adjustment for both sides in this, you know, in the aspect. I think if you look at it from Falkirk's perspective, their shape's a lot better. They look like they've got a bit more of a confined approach to the midfield. Things are a lot more condensed. Celtic have switched up in the sense that we're actually just trying to drive at them now, force them to burn some energy, which is kind of forcing them to be at 6s and 7s, especially around defensive quick counters. But Celtic aren't taking more than 3 or 4 touches at any given time. That's probably the big difference. So that Falkirk will kind of slow the ball down and then pop it forward as soon as there's a press. Celtic are, regardless of space and situation, doing what they can. That's another really good ball into the box. Oh, it should have been a second there. Still could be if Tierney can keep this one somewhat prevalent. That's a good little step in for Allen just to get out for a throw-in. Gives the boys time to get back. That was a lovely break, and again Araujo funnels down that far side, and it's like not a bad ball across the face of the 6-yard box. Bain kind of gets caught in two minds and doesn't really chase it out, and yeah, just an outstretched leg that he doesn't get on the end of. Nice to see him, it'll be well brought. Bob doesn't see, yeah, it's strange sometimes, the 3 PM watershed, man. That's why apps like Discord and Facebook come in use. If you're older Facebook, you'll probably find like a stream link of some kind, but that's a decent ball in. Please, McGregor, that's a good cut back, and surely this is the second. Oh, it's a belter as well! Lovely finish, and it's Benjamin Negrin. We now know why he was put in there. It was a masterclass from Martin O'Neill. I had my concerns about the shape, but I mean, all they really did was drop it back a few yards, and that opened up an amazingly effective run, and it's a class, very calm and class ball by McGregor as well, I must add. But the Swede keeps up his scoring form, puts another one in the back of the net, and it's a hell of a finish, I might as well say as well. It's McGregor that starts that lovely little breaking touch, gets it back to him, cuts it back. Lovely 1-2 action between the two of them. And Negrin does not waste any time, just inside of the box. Takes one touch to set himself, second one is on his left, which, I mean, for a weak foot finish, by the way, is fucking insane. Just pops it high, and I mean, Bain gets a hand to it, tries to kind of cut across off his wrist, but doesn't get enough contact on it, and it goes into the top corner. And 62 minutes into this game, and it's fair to say, well, 63 technically now, pretty much 64 by the time we kick it off, but for all intents and purposes, this game seems done. Looks like that goal has put us in a decent position, because if I look at the table, there you go, boys. There's your confirmation. Like I said, the one goal would take it to goals for, which we lead in quite comfortably, I might add as well. So there you are. We're back in second, as long as we don't concede again. But my prediction was 2-1, so based on current trajectory, I mean, it's possible. But you're hoping for the Hibs to. I mean, I think a lot of people, including Parts fans, would have probably wanted Hibs to win that game today, but just didn't in the end, right? Oh shit, I was meant to go back on the stats, my apologies. But yeah, we are second now, that is confirmed, as long as we don't lose a goal from here or, God forbid, drop 2. But Falkirk will probably have to go balls to the wall here. Try and drag something out of this game if necessary, but nice face. Got over that initial press for Falkirk in the opening 5-10 minutes, basically the same as the first half, and then just kind of slowly started to put the foot down. And across all aspects, we've been pretty decent. Yeah, I mean, they have dropped Negrin in a little bit. It's not noticeably, you know, to the point where he's a centre mid. It's more or less he's like a centre forward now almost. Like just behind Svanchara. That's a good switching touch actually. Falkirk might be trying to dance forward themselves here. There is a shot from range, it's not that bad either, but again, just seems to be the theme with the Bairns. They're just not keeping it on target. It's a well struck shot, can't take anything away from it, but in the end Schmeichel just kind of put his arms down to be like, not too much of a threat, calm enough. I suppose we're on a little break, we should do a bit of plugging, so allow me to do so. Love to see it, Rob, isn't it? Yes, hi, hello, please consider subscribing if you're new here anyway. It's the best thing you can do to help out the channel. If you have already done so, thank you first of all, but if you haven't, please consider leaving a like. It's, you know, keeps us in the algorithm and does a lot for the channel, so thank you. That's everything. Back to game. And he'll just look down at his tactics sheet then out, see if there's any maybe potential last second changes you might consider, but Celtic are trying to go on the press for a one here. Cartwright, Ross and Yeats are on for Falkirk. Tate, Wilson and McCann, I believe, were just taken off there. I didn't have time to see who the last shot number was. I'm going to presume it's McCann. He's the only other one that's on a yellow. That's a good little dance away. He's getting pushed and pulled. That's got to be a foul. And Cartwright is immediately in the book. It's taken him literally 23 seconds to get yellow carded there. That's almost commendable. Just pulling on the shorty Negrin a bit too aggressive with it. It's going to be a chance for us to maybe do something with the ball into the box. It's possible. Decent Villarreal pops in the space. There's again maybe an open run there for Forrest. Obviously play it back to the right back, just out of safety, calm enough there for Dane. That's a good pass, there we go. Nice to see you with a bit of confidence in you, lad. Granted he's not had too much to do, but that's a slice pass for sure, but we might keep it in play. What a fucking play back into space, good shot, good save. The touch for Forrest there was fucking ridiculously clean. It's a shame that didn't end up in a third. Still could though, Araujo's got it back into the box, he whips it across, headed away in the end. Another really good taking touch for Forrest. This is a better for you, big man. Looks like Celtic are trying to go for blood here. And eventually it's been stopped because a Falkirk player's gone down. I'm presuming it's because the ball cannoned off into his head. They need to stop it, obviously head injury, but Celtic a bit frustrated because we did have the ball and more importantly a good area to attack, but referee obviously wants to make sure he's alright, because it was a bit of a hard cross for Raul. He does take a sore one straight in the schnoz. But that ball into the box was, I mean, how the fuck did Forrest keep that in? I have no idea. It was a really good snapshot chance as well. It really should have honestly been a third. Negron could have got a brace there. Unfortunately that was not the case, and while there's a bit of a tendency to make sure that, I think it was Henderson that's quite it's Henderson. Just make sure that he's tended in. Alright. 2/3 of this game have comfortably been and gone, and we've been much the comfortable side. What I say, Falkirk have had their chances, but most of them have been off target, and the few that they have got on target have been very unthreatening. Honestly, that change I was potentially talking about half time is going to happen. Looks like there is a Tunekte warming up on the bench. We'll love to see him. He's had a bit of a stale patch over the last few match days, but does have that quality that can just dig out a class goal for nowhere. And at the very least, a stable choice to make, with the fact that we can obviously just have someone with a bit more energy on the flanks we can use. I'd imagine that would be a like-for-like switch for Dyson. Raul, good pass again. He is playing brilliantly, man. Falkirk combined to get that one away, but only about 30 yards for the goal. Very calm face, man. Setting the table, that is damn right, Albert. Progress in the right direction, but the game's not done yet. That's a lovely wee touch and take. Celtic keep the press engaged, and Falkirk are doing just as good of a job defending it as we are trying to attack it. That's a lovely ball over the top, but yep, once again we just pop ourselves into position. Scales pops it back, Dane's there as well. Tons of options. Yep, and Dane just pops it back to Schmeichel, they can build and go again. Calm as you fucking like. The football is very, very calm. Looks like the boys have just kind of settled themselves down. Like you said, when it's 1-0 up, you kind of have that back of your head thought, what if they decide to, but when you're 2-0 up, yeah, you have that ability just to relax a wee bit more and the pressure gets taken off your shoulders, and that can work against you, especially if you're in like a European type setting where you kind of need to be switched on all the time. But in a situation like this, we've been... Oh, that was a big mistake! Fucking hell, Falkirk nearly tumbling into their own net. It just came out on how good their defence was, but there was a big bit of communication issue there. Just kind of dangled his leg out a lot. I mean, that Bain is screaming at me at the near post, asking what the fuck he was even doing, touching it out, but he's just giving us a set piece chance. And it looks like we've got two changes of our own. It's going to be Rio coming on for on, which is pretty reasonable. Building in an alright shift, nothing spectacular by any means, but solid and stable, about as good as you can ask. And of course, it's not. I thought it would have been a straightforward switch for Dyson, but it looks like it's Finchara that's going to be coming off. So I guess Dyson's going to get pushed central, and Tunekte's going to go out left. Maeda most likely taking the solo role up front. I mean, I'm not going to complain about it too much, but would have just made sense to have Maeda fit. The arguments, I suppose. As long as we get the job done, it's decent enough. Corner kick to be swung in. Ball. Not half bad. It could still be dangerous, but Cartwright heads that one clear off the back of the first deflection. Still could be threatening if the switch is decent, or I always put a bit of spin on that. And Forrest does win the header, but it's still bouncing around. No one's really dealing with it. Falkirk try and pop it over the top. A slight deflection, but they could just let that run out for a throw-in, or they could play it quick, they'll let it run out for a throw-in instead. Ah, nice to see you, Kev. Hope you're well, brother. Loving the scoreline. How's the game been going? Are we well on top? We've definitely had patches of inconsistency, my guy. Has pretty much basically bar for bar the Utrecht game minus the goals. Celtic have been quite comfortably the better team, but in terms of shots, I mean, Falkirk are just trying to hammer their run for range for a good amount of this. They've only actually put 3 actual chances on target, and one was a half shot for like 35 yards. The other 2 were half decent. Schmeichel's only actually had 1 save to make. And to be fair, it was a good save, so I'm not going to be too mad at him in that sense, about as consistent as you can ask, but Celtic have been the better side just about, I would say. If you're going percentage of who's dominated, I'd say so far 60% in this game Celtic have dominated, and then you probably give Falkirk the 15-minute stints each opening of the half. They were good in the first 15 in the first and good for the first 15 in the second, but same kind of theme both halves. Francisco, nice to see you, my guy, hope you're well. Stewart is off and Graham is on. That's another confirmed change for Falkirk. They're starting to throw them in on mass now. Shows from Ranger Schmeichel's weakness. Absolutely spot on, Kevin. It's probably why they're trying it, to be honest, and I don't blame them, but yeah, it's been pretty straightforward in that sense. I mean, I'm sure if I refreshed these, there'll be too much of a change. Yeah, Celtic have been pretty okay in terms of chance creation, but Falkirk have probably been a little bit better, but it's mostly block shots and shots off target. For us, it's been pretty, when we make a chance, it is either keeper needs to save it or it goes in, so not bad. 60% of the ball, pretty calm. And if you haven't seen Kev, that's another result you might be interested in. 1-0, but all square between Hibs and Rangers, which means that extra goal that we got after the 1-0 against Falkirk. The second one put us in second. Well, pretty much just about holding on to second spot. And we can feel good because our draw was against top of the table Hearts, and we were down to 10 men. Controversially, we should have probably got 3 points out of that game. Their draw was against Hibs, and it's not as if Hearts outplayed us in that game. He was offside there. I was going to say, even if there was half appeals, they looked like he was half bad, half decent distance, and that's what it was. As far as consistency goes, this is pretty much about as par for the course you can get. Like a 6.5, 7 out of 10 type of performance. Nothing too spectacular, but I mean, considering the fact we went with a 4-4-2, which is already a weird enough formation to play in Scotland, it's pretty interesting to see how both strikers actually scored, or at least both people that were placed in strikers. I know Fanchara is a striker, but they could have been playing off the left hand side of him, but when they dropped him in just a wee bit deeper, more or less as a centre forward, all of a sudden he's a much more effective player in this game. I wanted to drop him back into the midfield, but I guess O'Neill's found that sweet spot in between the two, and it's working absolutely fine. Solid all around, man. How has Murray been? Pretty decent, actually. He's not had too many. Oh, hold on, chance actually. Hold on, we're into the box. Ball's whipped in. Oh, good defence, in fairness. Henderson's managed to recover well, corner kick for us. But I mean, in terms of defensive ability, he's not had much to do. I mean, Araujo's done a lot of the covering for him, so there is that. But I mean, some decent passing here and there. Araujo's got it on the edge of the box. Speak of the devil, and he shall arrive. Let's see if he's got something to. Oh my god, it nearly worked. It's still deflects. It's in for 3 anyway. It's over. It's no way the flag's. What do you mean the flag's gone up? It's been pulled back for something. Should have been 3-0. I'm still trying to figure out and wait on what it was disallowed for. Was there a foul? Did someone impede the goalkeeper? Is it because Dyson's? Oh, it does. I thought it came off of Bain. It bounced off of Dyson in the front line. Technically, if it wasn't in the way, then I'm sure a good team. I know, I'm saying in terms of like the context, right? They were getting a shit for drawing with Hearts, and then you're like, well, I mean, you just went to Easter Road on form and didn't score. Like, we went to Tynecastle, scored twice, got sent down to fucking 10 men and still hung in there. At least we had fight in that game, that's what I was saying. It's just poor for a Rangers fan perspective. You're like, fuck's sake man, you would usually take that incentive. Right, we finally got second, let's kick on. See if we can catch Hearts, but tripped up right at the first hurdle after it. Almost typical in some senses. So just a poor giveaway for Galway on that far side. But very solid all round. Say defensively, Scales probably like a 6 out of 10. I'd say Tierney's 7. Just because he's been putting on a few extra crosses and had some good really good time challenges, I should say. Araujo's probably been, I'd say with the exception of Fanchara, probably player of the match. And Dane's been consistent enough. He's had a couple of loose passes here and there, but for the most part pretty decent, Megan. I can't really argue with him in that sense. Midfield's been pretty tight and well drilled, can't argue with that. Forwards have been very okay in a lot of aspects as well. Like I said, both popped up with goals when they've needed to, and I mean the wingers have been somewhat prevalent. Forrest maybe a little less so since he's came on, but Tenecti obviously scoring just there for that one to be disallowed. Pardon me. It seems like Celtic are just pretty much playing at stall time, same sort of process as we've done for the past 10-15 minutes. Keep it on the ground, keep it low, and if there's an open lane, take it, but if not, just shift it, keep Falkirk moving. Although, the second that I say that, Forrest decides to be too fancy, tries to do a quick pass and he gives it away for a throw-in on the far side. So, there is that, I guess. Thanks, Forrest, very cool. I feel like Falkirk will be a bit disappointing considering the fact that they did start this game with a bit more intent. It's definitely fizzled out as the game's gone on, though. They're probably resigning themselves to the fact that even with the best case scenario, probably a point at best. But like I said at half time, if we get to the 8th minute, we're 2-0 up and there isn't too many chances for Falkirk in the half as a whole, you feel a lot more confident about getting our chances. It's a good press. Oh, yeah, I like that. Fucking solid. Tonight he just sticks his leg out, gets in the way. It's going to be a throw-in for Falkirk anyway, but decent enough. What's your views on the players that we're now linked with? Any that you, like you see Amaro's having a medical in London for us at the moment. I mean, there's a few interesting ones. Obviously, for me, the one that I've seen that's still I'd love to see is if we got Kasper. I don't know how you pronounce it because it's Danish, right? I'd just say H-O-G-H. I think it's Hoch, but apparently it's Hu. But Kasper Hu, the fucking glimpse striker, genuinely would be a great piece of business if we could get him in, but it just seems a little unlikely. I mean, Amado, I don't mind him too much. I think it would be decent. You know, if he hits the ground running, it would be the same kind of type of thing as Fanchara, where it depends on what version of that player you get. But I don't know. I mean, who's the other one? I can't mind his name because it was a bunch of letters. But the fuck, I'm just going to search up his name because I know who it is, but I just can't mind myself how it's pronounced, and I don't want to say it wrong for obvious reasons. Give me the but fuck it, I'll just do this and then do the old finishing way, right? Going to the old transfer hub and see what's been Celtic transfer news. There we go. Let's have a wee get under. Falkirk are just taking a wee stoke forward here, so I'll hold up my holy shit, I'm still trying to get hold of fucking Felix Passlack. That's not a bad signing for them. Point in the box for Falkirk. Clear the way. That's a bit better. Nice. Dane just stands his ground and Skills gets a body on the end of it. Yeah, just Dane's doing the pragmatic defence. Quite nice. Looks like apparently we've got apparently there's a potential shout for a guy called John Mavuka former. Well, I mean, he's at Lorient right now, but he's had a very tough stint from what I'm seeing. I'm not too sure about that one, I'll be honest. I'd pay the 10 million for Casper Hall. He's only 25 years old. This is the thing. It's like that's the type of like we did this with Chris Garden back last January, where we were like, how much do you want for him? 8 million. Oh, we'll give you 6.5 and then a bunch of add-ons, and then they were like, fuck that. Instead, you pay 11.5 now in summer, and then we just lost them entirely. Kelechi's going to be coming on as a final change for Dyson, you would imagine. Don't mind that too much. But we can't afford to make that mistake. If we have the chance to get Casper Hall, we have to take it, man. Because, again, it's a guy that has proven that he can score in big games. That was against City and Atletico, by the way, so why not go for him? I mean, he's actively showed interest. There is no reason not to. But instead, we'll probably sign some fucking lone striker for the Championship again, and that'll be it. 37, well, fuck's sake, on a stream like this, that's surprising. Well, Welsh is on. That's the other switch alongside Kelechi. I don't mind that too much. Got the two youngsters repping, so Scales gets a wee break. And a bit of a late surge call for them, but they've decided to go down that. I don't know. I mean, let me throw a question to you in chat, right? Say the board drags you in randomly, right, and they sit you down and go, you've got 15-ish million to spend between now and the next 24 hours. Based on who's available, what and who do you go for? Do you go for a striker? Do you go for a goalkeeper? Do you go for a centre back? Do you go for a mix of all three and spread the cost between all of them? Or do you go all out on one big key signing? Because that's probably what the discussions are going to be in those boardrooms and those transfer meetings. The scouts will be pointing out, it's like, look, we won't have a lot to work with, so it's either we bring in 2 or 3 pieces that could work, or we bring in one big piece that is guaranteed to. But Maeda and Tierney are officially off. That was the confirmation there. It's still an off-Scot defence, so not too bad in that sense. The striker, aye. Genuinely, I would agree with that. Masway is a hell of a player. Genuinely. Been saying that for the fucking start of the season. I'm like, he's not bad. That guy's got him playing some pretty fucking respectable stuff. And Fofana from Chelsea. That's a good loan option. I feel like if we could get him on loan, that would be fucking brilliant. Because I don't think we'd ever be able to have the funds to pay his wages weekly, but getting him in for 6 months is a winner. You're talking about Datro, right? Datro Fofana. There's like Wesley Fofana and a bunch of other Fofanas, so I need specifics. But I think if you're talking about Datro, wouldn't be a bad piece. Oh wait, Falkirk chance. Falkirk chance into the box. They've spun away. Shot. Casper. Good fucking there we go, big man. Strong wrists. It doesn't get under you. It doesn't bounce off you and into the net. Like, you actually just get it away. Fucking revolutionary. And it should have been pulled back for offside anyway, so it didn't even mean anything. But still. That's what you say, I agree with. He would be good. If not, I'd say if you're looking for quick fixes, could go for someone like a Kieran Bowie, I guess. But yeah, that's the issue that I was seeing with that throw as well. It's like we wouldn't be able to just afford him on his wages that he's on now, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. Do that and get a couple of signings, and Callum Miller's off from theirs, but by the way. I feel like the Bundesliga on loan or something like that, you could go for those types of options. Although I tell you what, there is a wee fella playing for Hamburg right now that would be a hell of a signing. I'm sure you have heard of him, that Vucekovic. He's like a 18-year-old centre back that's playing for them now. I was watching the derby game between Hamburg and St. Pauli, and he was genuinely one of the fucking key pieces. We need another goal ASAP. Why do we need it? But I mean, unless Falkirk score like right this second, I don't think it's too much of a concern, to be honest with you. 2-0 is pretty good. I wouldn't argue with that's a fucking challenge. Good shit. The hustle there for Tenecte, damn fucking solid, man. Got respect for the Tunisian. Scales just skips past his man like he didn't even exist. That is skill moves. And then the worst ball forward I've ever seen. Well, that's the case, David. We don't need more, we need 10. Give me 10. Goal every minute with every additional minute of added time, because they'll probably try and add like 6 minutes for no reason. I'd hope it would be 2 or 3. 3 minutes seems about right, seems reasonable. But to anyone that's liked the stream, thank you very much. It's unbelievable account. I need to take one last gander to see what's happening between the Celtic women's and Rangers women's. Just bear with me while I fucking pull all that up, because it's just a bit of a stale, stagnant kind of thing going on here, where people are just kind of bouncing around, the balls popping up with each other at stop start foul every 10 fucking seconds. So the Rangers won on penalties in additional time in that match. Fair enough, I guess. No arguments there. The ball in the box for Falkirk is half decent. Let's see if they can get something. They do not, but we could potentially break here. A steal chance for a fourth maybe, and we do not do that instead. Cross in could be potentially dangerous. Actually, it's not bad. Falkirk could grab one late here. I feel like it would have been fair for them if they did, but Celtic once again just kind of toe the line the right ways. Ball sent forward. Kelechi's going to receive it from rear. Nice to see Kelechi back. It's good that we have some striking options now. Shvanchara and Kelechi, two respectable options to go with. Welsh just pops it inside. Well, it'll be interesting to see how he kind of adapts over the next 5-6 months with the loan spell at Motherwell under his belt. Kind of hope it's similar to what happened when Scales went on loan to Aberdeen, where he just kind of kicks on and all of a sudden becomes a first spot in the team through sheer grit and willpower. That's a potential penalty shout. Referee doesn't agree. And honestly, I'm inclined to agree with him. It looked like he went down a bit too soft. I suppose we'd see if there is a replay afterwards, but for now Celtic have to run back and try and defend, which McGregor does a solid job of. For those that are new here, by the way, I want to clarify, we do this thing at the end of every game. Whenever we win, we yell yass very loudly, so I want to give the heads up to the 3 or 4 of you that have subscribed. We're 2 away for 18:30, by the way, so thank you for that. It's unbelievably kind. But just a warning for headphone users, we do, you know, that at the end of every match. And for yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Despite the fact there's barely any reason to add on a whole bunch of minutes, 4 additional minutes for the vibe, I guess. We've played through 30 seconds of it already, so technically 3.5, but I cannot complain. First half was a little bit iffy here and there. I have to say there was a couple of mid-performances, especially up until about the 40th minute. But second half a lot more consistent. Falkirk have been a lot less threatening overall. Again, a lot of their chances have been from range, and if they have got into the box, they've been easily blocked. Celtic have at least tried to be a bit more effective in the sense that when they make chances, they make sure they're good shots, good opportunities, and 2 of them have at the back of the net. Finchara's header in the opening half, and then Nygren's lovely left-footed kind of curler finish in the second. And as far as we can kind of take it from a Celtic fan's perspective, it's about as good as you can ask, right? Like, we didn't burn out the energy of all the players or anything. We've kept another clean sheet at home under O'Neill, which is majorly positive. And it tees us up nicely for the next run of games. Obviously I'll be showing you what the one after this one is. I'm sure most of you already know, but if you don't ahead of time, it will be on Wednesday night, I believe, and that will be against Aberdeen at Pittodrie. A major match for a lot of reasons. Aberdeen trying to chase that top 6 spot, which they still could theoretically do with a good run of form between now and the end of the first league phase stretch. It's not as if it gets too much easier after that. A couple of interesting matches between now and the end of it. And for those that didn't see, by the way, I'm sure most of you do know by now, in the Europa League it is Stuttgart that we got drawn against. I was hoping for part of me was hoping for Fabianakos. Or Ferencvaros. I know it's Ferencvaros, but Ferencvaros is just how it's pronounced to me. But it's Ferencvaros. I feel like it would have been good to have like Robbie Keane against fucking Martin O'Neill, but Stuttgart's a hell of a team, and actually a team that I have a lot of love for in the Bundesliga. I love Stuttgart, man, they're a great club. So that is a match that I'm looking very much forward to. It'll be a damn good game. Job done, Rangers third good day, you know, a few players would be great. Exactly it. The day has been good so far. It could get a lot better. It could become great. I'll just try to run down the clock here. It'd be nice if we get in and then like Martin O'Neill at full time. Just I've got a bit of an announcement. We've signed about 16 players that are coming in right after I get down the tunnel. It's gonna be great. Nah, it's just as long as we get 1 or 2 key pieces in. We are about 35 seconds out from full time here. Tonight he's just going to barrel down the far side on one last little flurry into the box. Spain parries it out. And Falkirk have cemented themselves to defeat because they're all basically behind the ball now. Just try to limit goal difference, which again for a team that's just about hanging into the top 6. Goal difference could be absolutely crucial, so I don't blame them for doing it whatsoever. Forrest just kind of gets up towards the edge of the area, calmly dealt with, cut back. Dane. I have to say, toss up between Araujo and Fanchara, who's man of the match for me. I suppose most people would probably gate to Fanchara for scoring a goal in his technically his first full Celtic home debut. And that's full time. And a good, hard fought, solid, very grounded performance from us all across the board. Very decent. And like we previously aforementioned, just in case you want a little gander at it, there's your table. Right there. Hearts are 6 points clear, but the more important thing for us is that we managed to close the gap on a certain other team. But of course, still a lot to play for. We need to win the next few matches. I'm going to very quickly pull up the next result that we need to do, but while that table's there, we're going to get up and yell very loudly. You know the drill for anyone that's new here, for anyone that has just subscribed. This is how we celebrate them. So I do apologise for your ears in advance, but we do it with pride. Even if my throat is absolutely fucking destroyed like a porn star's, I'm going to yell at the loudest capacity I can. Gentlemen, for the victory and for the win. Yes! Yes! Good shit! We take it. Very, very solid. Happy, pleased, chuffed. All of the words, all of the feelings of positivity and vibes. We win. We get ourselves a very good result, and more importantly, 3 major points in the hunt for the title. Let's see who our next game is against, because obviously, I mean, you know who it is against. You should probably know who it is against, but we'll pull it up just in case you don't. But on the 4th of February, that will be the next game there. We'll be up against the Dons up north. Aberdeen, the Granite City, we take a wee gander to play at Pittodrie. It'll be an interesting one in that sense. And this, obviously, like I said, again, when you look at that table, it's not as if it's, any less crucial for Aberdeen to get the win. They need to kind of close the gap. I mean, we did give them a pretty good, solid beating Falkirk for them, but they'll need to beat us now, so tee-up match in that sense. I mean, who's Rangers' next match against, just out of curiosity? Kelly at home. I mean, they did just win 3-0 against Aberdeen, so, one of those, I guess. Can't really argue with that. I'm pretty sure I should have. Just anytime I see those like emojis, I don't like. I know that it's not like meant to look like it, but to me, it's just like one of those really sarcastic things where like the manager watches someone missing absolute sitter and they just kind of go, and then back to normal. It's for fun of being talked about. Well, the phone. Right, I'm going to pull up all the transfer rumours that I've either noted down at one point or another over the last day or two. Cavill, thank you for joining us. Appreciate it. A perfect time to subscribe. We're one away for 18:30 now, but that's unbelievably kind. Thank you so much. Let's see what rumours we've got that are confirmed, or at the very least have somewhat of a traction to it. Okay. Yeah, the big one for us is there's an ex-Bodo striker, which is that John Mavuka, which we were talking about, the one that had a very poor stint out in Lorient, and I wouldn't say it's a good one. Casper Ho is still in talks, although, yeah, apparently Bodo want an increased fee. Apparently, Joe Mavuka would be 4 million, so there is that. There is some interesting ones. So with the Jams talk, to be fair, the Jambos will, they'll be a little bit more. That's better, Shuto. with a big smile, there we go. Fucking excellent. I'm just trying to see what all the major. I don't need notifications for that. Fuck off. Let's see. We have a couple of interesting ones. Okay, as of now, the main talking points, at least, I'll go by the top 5, right, so you have a rough idea. We're looking at a goalkeeper, in Alexander Bobek, which is a Polish fella. I think I don't even know what fucking club that is, I'll be honest with you. I'm presuming it's a Polish league team, yeah, RKS Lodz. So we'll look at a goalkeeper from RKS Lodz, which is a Polish second division team, so, you know, not particularly too good. We're looking at a winger by the name of Damir Redsic, who could be a potentially decent signing. We're looking at Casper Ho, as I've discussed. The fee is now raised to 8 million rather than the 6 that we should have paid for him less than a week ago. Now we're paying 2 extra million if we want him. But the main rumour, which apparently is 70% assessed and conclusive, so it seems like there is a high chance we get him, is Junior Adamo, who is currently at Freiburg. And obviously the one that we just talked about, Joe Mavuka, who apparently would be a fee of around 2 million plus add-ons up to 4. And obviously that winger for this one, Judemis or Gedjemis, I don't honestly know, it's an Algerian French dude, so, you know, one of those pronunciations, I guess. A couple of other interesting left field shoots, obviously, as Megan was talking about just there. David Datro Fofana, although that would be on a loan basis, doesn't seem like it's likely. We've started to make a little bit of an inroads towards FC Union Berlin's Illich, which could be something, I guess. Wouldn't mind it too much. There's outside links for Nico Seeger from Dinamo Zagreb, who actually wouldn't be a bad signing. The Canadian, I think he's Canadian anyway. I think he's mixed nationality, and that seems to be about it in terms of at least confirmed talks. Like, you know, there's been an open dialogue between the club and the other club. It's not just some random, we should sign Evan Ferguson, and it's a rumour. It's like, no, these are all, you know, fully confirmed and discussed rumours. The most likely one right now, according to all of this, is Junior Adamo, centre forward for FC Freiburg, or SC Freiburg, I should say. So keep an eye out for that, because I mean, there's a few rumours, and none of them are expensive. That's the one thing that I like to see. There's obviously Xaver Schlager as well. I mean, I'm sure you've all seen the links with that, but doesn't seem like that will be too likely. It's a 10 million signing, so yeah, like I said, if we go and get him and him alone, I'd consider that a good enough window, but we have to be a bit more consistent in that sense. But yeah, decent. There you go. There's your rundown of the transfer rumours for you. If we don't bring in any players, it will take a miracle to win the league. It would take a miracle. It would take about 16 different fucking circumstances to play out in our favour, like every other team in the league, pulling out major injuries at the worst possible times. That type of beat. If you get something like that going, that'd be fucking fantastic. I'll be fully honest with you. But we ain't got too much time left, so we've got about 5 or 10 minutes to fuck around, and then we'll probably call it a day for this stream. Like I said, if you're just going to be heading out now, as you can see on your screen there, we will be taking on Aberdeen on the 4th of February in most likely should be live for that, and maybe not the ones after it, I'm not too sure. But yeah, definitely a busy month for sure coming up. Plus a sprinkling of sage. You're going to need about 20 fucking, at least kilotons of that shit. Just park it into Desmond's office or something like, get that in the fucking players' goddamn clothes linen, man. See when they make the Celtic kits, get that shit stitched in with it. See, rather than it being fucking like just green hoops, it's sage just plastered all over a white shirt to look like hoops. A deadline day stream. One thing that I was actually discussing with someone in the Discord that I was considering doing, Megan, was like basically as deadline day goes on, because obviously it's all the way through until the end of Monday night, right? So the way that I'd look at it is basically around like 5-6 PM, somewhere around that type of time frame. I'd kind of, I mean, if Flash is up for it, I'm not too sure he's out at the game now, so I wouldn't be able to obviously speak for him, but I know there's a few people in chat that might be interested in like having that as a thing where just come in and do one of the good old community discussion things that we do every week or two, and on top of that we'll obviously keep tabs of any major news developments, because again, like I said, I have like 4 or 5 different sources and places that I can look at the same fucking time to be like, we've got this guy, we've got that guy, we've got this, you know. So definitely an idea if that's something that you're genuinely interested in. It's something I could probably put together quite quick notice, but for the most part, if not, then at the very least it will be, I mean, anyone that's in my Discord, you know what happens whenever there's a transfer announcement. Me or Flash will usually put like a breakdown what we think, and more importantly if they're good signings or not. But I'll tell you right now, based on what we've got there, if we get Adamu, couldn't be a bad signing, right? He's you know, a Bundesliga level talent. It's pretty decent in that sense. He's just lacking in goals and more importantly minutes, so could be a decent one. Schlager, if we get him, that'd be fucking massive. But the one that I really want is Casper Ho, because if we can get him, that's massive, right? It's not an expensive signing. It's what, 6.5 to 8 million, probably on the higher end of 8 million now because of that performance against Atletico. That's what European performances can do. But if you want a European level striker, you've got to pay European level money, and that to me makes sense. I guess you can make it an SPL stream instead of just Celtic. You know, that could be a shout, because again, we have Gaz and all that in there as well. I'm not sure if Gaz is still in chat, but that's definitely a shout, because, I mean, Rangers, I'd imagine they'd have a couple of deadline day signings. You keep a tab on Hearts as well, obviously, because they are technically rivals in that sense. Obviously, Motherwell too, in any kind of major ones. Like I said, we're just looking at some of the Hibs transfers right before right after the game ended, I should say. Definitely a shout, Megan. Gotta give you credit, man. Melon's just good eyes, good ideas coming with that as well. I've got to might actually work with that. It's just a case of trying to figure out how I get them all at the same time. But again, in fact, actually, I could just use the fucking laptop, because I could pull up 2 different tabs and then I could just fuck it. Yeah, no, that might be a shout. As Megan says there, if you're not in the Discord, please consider joining. It's in the description of this chat. How are we heavily targeting the Bundesliga? The same reason why most people do, because it's decent, consistent quality of players for relatively low costs. Like if Angelos was playing at like Brighton like a season and a half ago, you just know he wouldn't be 11 million, right? It'd be like 25. Well, the Bundesliga, they're quite fair with their prices. You can get some decent players for relatively cheap if you know where to look. And teams like Freiburg, teams like Hamburg, teams like St. Pauli, and you know, you're kind of not necessarily lower end, but kind of more bottom half type teams. Although I say that Freiburg have had some good seasons recently, but you know, teams that don't have a lot of outsourcing, they don't spend 30-40 million on players. They tend to use their academies, or they tend to sign for lower, you know, German divisions, and they tend to build them up that way. And like I said, some of the key players I still like that Hamburg defender, that wee 18-19-year-old lad. I can't mean his name off the top of my head. I think it's Vucekovic, I could be wrong, but he's very good looking and looks like a solid prospect for the future for anyone that gets a hold of him. If we get any one of those signings that we're linked with, I'll take that 100%. That will be a pretty respectable window if we do anything. It's going to suck if we get to like 6 PM tomorrow and there's no news at all. Then I'll be concerned, because you ideally need to have shit finalised before midnight, and if we don't, what can we realistically do for the rest of the season? Because then we're working with predominantly injury-riddled players, and some of which don't even necessarily want to be there. You want to, try and at least get 1 or 2 fresh faces through the door, not just for competition, but for, momentum, for morale, for, just taking the pressure and the air into the lungs a little bit of the players that are actually under all the pressure, because again, you're asking strikers to play out position, wingers are playing as strikers, centre attacking midfielders are playing as strikers, left mids are playing as left backs. You don't want that to be the case all the time. And O'Neill's done a good job of minimising the issues with what he has, but if he's telling you you need a couple of signings, you fucking listen if you're the board, because that man has been nothing but a saint for the club this season. So if he's telling you it in a nice way, listen, take his advice, and just try and have at least somewhat of a stable end to the window. Get 1 or 2 faces in that are refreshing, and more importantly, actually Celtic, quality, and we just see what happens. I think that's probably the best way to go about it. To be quite frankly, fair with. But definitely a solid question to ask, Megan, because I've realised that myself over recent seasons that a lot of teams, especially around our area, are looking more towards like Bundesliga, Portuguese league, those leagues where you're not paying exuberant amounts in terms of weekly wages. Because in Bundesliga you'll have players that are on high wages, of course, but most of them tend to be in the kind of 15 to 30 bracket, which isn't too far off of the SPFL playing for a higher rate player. So if you're going to the Bundesliga and paying 6.5, 7 million for a midfielder for there, the wages kind of match up with what Celtic would probably be looking for. But if you try to buy someone of similar quality for the Premier League, you might get the player in terms of the value, but the wages, no, because they're on like 60, 70k a week just sitting on the fucking reserve bench for Chelsea. That's why I'm saying that throw would be a great loan signing, but could be getting permanently. Not a chance, because the dude is on significant wages that Celtic just simply can't afford. But I think that's basically everything. If anyone wants to continue the points, Chateau, Flash, if you're watching this as a VOD when you get back, because I know you always do, so what's happening, brother? If you want to talk about anything football related, you're more than welcome to do so. If you want to talk about anything life related, I suppose you can too. My Discord's open and it's not as I've got anything to do for the rest of the day, so if you want to talk about anything along those lines, you're more than welcome to. Probably might be in that Discord tomorrow. Might be a shout, Megan, in terms of doing the deadline day. I feel like a few people might appreciate that. I know Chateau might as well, especially because he's probably going to be out and about, and you want to have that guarantee that he gets the news as soon as possible. That's unbelievably kind of you. Good advice. I appreciate the kind of brainstorming though. Very, very kind of you. Appreciate you, Megan. Thank you very much. Enjoyed the insights. Likewise with you, man. Likewise with you. But I think that's basically everything that needs to be covered between now and the end of the stream. So let me just pull up the music and do what needs to be done. Go and get some food in my system, because I am a fat bastard. I'm a skinny bastard, but I'm a skinny fat bastard, and that means probably meat. Yeah, meat is 100% going to be me. I don't even want to try to pretend like I'm going to eat something fucking healthy. It's going to be something that will give me a heart attack instantly, most likely. Probably bacon sandwich. Yeah, bacon sandwich most likely. That will do me fucking solid. Let's just get this wrapped up now. Have a great evening, Kicker. Not a problem at all, Shooter. You have a good one yourself, my slugger. British. I've just had a drink for this Calypso. It's fucking minging. Sorry, I'm done now. My brain started to rope out. I'm not used to talking for like 2.5 hours, like twice in 1 week. Thank you for watching. Thank you for coming along. Thank you for being here for the stream, whether it be just a little bit or for the whole thing. You're appreciated. Nonetheless, to anyone that subscribed to us, thank you so much for doing so. We're pretty much slowly but surely ticking towards that 1888 goal by the end of the season. If you want to join us for the next one, like you said, it's on the side of your screen there. Aberdeen against Celtic on the 4th of February. You can join us about 15 minutes before kick-off. That's usually when we go live, but the actual feed kicks in about 5-10 minutes beforehand. But if you want to join us early, you're absolutely more than welcome to do so. Celtic managed to get the job done today. More importantly, like I said, for the table, we're in a good spot because we don't have to worry about shit now, because like I said, we're back in second. We just need to maintain that pace. As for the rest of it, pretty solid. Can't argue in that sense. I would say Araujo probably just edges out man of the match. However, Shanchara, thank you for giving me some faith in our strikers. I mean, Kelechi came on and had a decent performance as well. And I mean, a good one against a good Falkirk side. I ain't going to complain in the goddamn slightest. Very solid across the board. Thank you anyone that showed support as well. Anyone that liked or subscribed. Much love to you. But we're going to bail out now because there is nothing else to do. So thank you for watching. Thank you for having a good one. And as always, Celtic are still the best goddamn team on the planet. I'll see you in the next one. But until then, hail hail and have a good one. Catch us, boys. Celtic are still the best, man. Look at that. We actually kept a clean sheet. Let's go. Let's go. Good to see.